Oh, nice.
Welcome, far and wide, boys and girls of all ages. It is time for the Poindexter Lounge. Welcome once again to the Poindexter Lounge. My name is Enosh, aka Enosh Fett, and it is great to have you with me here in the lounge tonight. Now, if this is your first time to the lounge, like I always say, just know the Poindexter Lounge is a place for you. Oh, whoa. Did I say something different? Yep, I said something different. It's a place for nerds, but it's a place for you specifically. We made this channel as a place where we could get together. And honestly, it's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a thing when I say you're our nerd family. We look at you guys as people that we associate with, we talk about, we talk to, we discuss the things that we love, things like TV shows, movies, games, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books, superheroes, toys, and so much more. And if that is what you've been looking for, if you've been searching far and wide, you're not always going to agree with me. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, if this is your first time watching a Poindexter Lounge stream or a video or whatever, a show, whatever, and you think that you're going to come in here and you're just going to agree with everything that I say, or that's what you're looking for, I will tell you, I will sorely disappoint you because you will not agree. There will be times that I have some hot takes. There's some times that you have some hot takes. Let's be honest. Come on. Let's be honest. There's some times that you have some hot takes on stuff. There's some times where you get some idea in your head and you're like, "Oh, I'm sticking to this," and nobody else may understand why you're sticking to your guns, but you just do. You just have this thing, and you just want to be there. And that's the same thing here with the lounge. But I will guarantee you this. You will get good conversation. You will get good discussion, speculation, back and forth. But we're not going to lie to you. Right? We're not going to tell you just what you want to hear. We're not just going to set you up for failure. We're going to tell you the way that we feel about it. You tell us the way that you feel about it. And then, hey, sometimes we just got to wait and see how it all turns out in the end. But if those are things that, you're looking for, some honesty and just a great place to hang out, then you have found the right place. So please hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell and join our growing group of nerds. All right. And then also, I just want to say, if you would, please, as you come in, it really does help us if you hit the like button. Look, if you've been around here for a long time, if you're a subscriber and you've been around here for a long time and maybe you support the channel, whatever, hit that like button because what that does is it sends these little things called the algorithm out, and it tells other people, who are maybe surfing right now, maybe they're getting ready to go to bed. I don't know. It's 1 a.m. here in the eastern part of the United States. But, maybe somebody's kind of just flipping to their phone, maybe looking for something to go to bed to, or, to watch before they go to bed. And they if you hit that like button, maybe YouTube will say, you know what, we're going to send this out to Joe Schmo here, and wherever they're at. And all of a sudden they see it and they go, oh, what's this Poindexter Lounge? Oh, he's talking about something that I like. Okay, I think I'll take that. I'll take a listen to that. It really does help. So please hit that like button and let's do this thing. All right. Also, as always, we want to thank all of those who support the channel. First thing, thank you to all of our patrons. Thank you to all of the members of the channel. You guys, we're very, very thankful for you. You guys are an inspiration to us, and I'm always humbled and amazed at the amount of people who support the lounge. Whether or not you just show up, right? Whether or not you just show up and watch the show, and I don't say just show up because that's important when you show up and watch the show, or whether you support us via different ways, maybe it's super chats or whatever. Thank you guys so much. Or whether or not maybe I know some of you guys take advantage of this and you guys want to bypass the YouTube thing, and so there's a Cash App, a PayPal, a Venmo. All those links are in the description below, and you can take advantage of those. And then also we got a store where you can get really cool Poindexter Lounge merch. That's right, you can get Poindexter Lounge merchandise, different TV related things, and real fun stuff. T-shirts and mugs and, all that fun stuff. All right. So check that out. Also, of course, we want to thank our good friends at bullysticksdirect.com. Bullysticksdirect.com is a great natural treats and chews for your dog. My dogs absolutely love them. My dogs go crazy over Bully Sticks, and very, very thankful for Bully Sticks Direct. They're all natural Bully Stick dog treats and chews. Like I said, you can get free shipping on all orders. If you use code Poindexter at your checkout, you're going to save 10% on your order. But there's always free ground shipping in the USA. You can auto ship and save, so you can save even more money there. If you have concerns or questions or whatever, you can actually call them. The telephone number is right there on the top, and we're thankful for our friends over there. My friend Greg, he's a really great guy. It's all natural and preservative free, no added hormones or antibiotics. There's all kinds of different categories. There's not just one. Maybe your dog doesn't like one or the other or whatever. That's the great thing about Bully Sticks Direct. They have several different types of categories and things for your dog that they may like. And of course, it alleviates boredom, it lessens anxiety. And my Harley Quinn, I've got 3 dogs: Harley Quinn, Wookie, and Marty McFly. And Harley Quinn she suffers from anxiety, and it's really great to see her when she is able to have a bully stick or something like that. She's able to chew on something that keeps her preoccupied. It alleviates that boredom and that anxiety, and she just loves it. They're healthy, they're safe, and you can go pick some up over there at bullysticksdirect.com. Okay, we got some things to talk about tonight. I know we started the show a little bit late tonight, but I figured I would do a show. I was really tired all day today. I had a really bad migraine. The weather's been really weird around here this week, and so I decided today, I came home from work and I took a nap. And it was one of those naps, you know how when you start a nap and you think, I'm just going to lay down for like a half hour. That's what I thought. Then it turned into an hour, and Tiffany came home from work and she goes, hey, do you want to sleep a little bit more? Or do you want to get up? And I said, you know what? Wake me up in about 15 minutes. She came back down to wake me up, and I said, give me another 10. Give me another 10, because I was asleep on the couch. And then that turned into like another hour, and then another 2 hours. And so I literally woke up at like 8:30, something like that. So I got a pretty decent little rest. And so I still got to get up in the morning, but I figured, some of these things dropped, and we had some of the things that we want to talk about tonight. And so I figured that I would go ahead and do a show with you guys tonight, and just have some fun with you guys before I call it a night. How's that sound? I do want to say hi to people in the chat. Rhea's here. What's going on, Rhea? Says, evening, y'all. Be sure to smash that like button. Heck yeah. What's up, Levon? Good to see you. Mladen is here. Good to see you, Mladen. Says, Enosh is looking for his pants. It's going to be a while. No, I got my pants on, baby. They're right here. Right here. What's up, Zeno? Says, better late than never. Hey, Enosh. Good to see you, man. Let's see who else here. Ryan Hartwell in the chat tonight. Good to see you, my friend. Darth Scipio is here. Says, hello, Enosh in chat. Benimus Prime is here. Says, Enosh, my fellow John Byrne Superman enthusiast. I will take that all day. I will take that all day. I will live by that for sure. It seems The Rock overcooked at DC. Also, according to Flash Film News, Gal Gadot is not cut out of the Flash movie. You know what? That's why I said that story, up until I actually watch the Flash movie. We'll talk about it a little bit. Maybe some other people will come in here in just a minute. But until I watch that Flash film, anything goes, man. Anything could happen. I just don't know anymore. Nobody knows, right? It just is what it is. Okay. Aaron Pritchard is here. Good to see you, Aaron. Always good to see Aaron. Thank you so, Mladen. There's this Poindexter Lounge is a neutral space for different opinions. I try. Look, I try. I'm always going to have my opinion. People are going to have their opinions. It's okay. I will tell my opinion all day long. I will make my opinion known. Some people don't like that, but some people, there's just people who are just, they're hell bent on one thing or another. And I always think people always make me laugh when they come into a chat and they're like, oh, it's an echo chamber. It's not an echo chamber. Look, I may have some people on, on a specific night who share a sentiment, to share an idea or whatever, but it doesn't mean that that's representative of everything that we ever have on the lounge. And people who are here for a while, they know that. They know that. You guys know that. William says that headline should read, Rock fails to overcome bad management. His own bad management? Maybe. I think so. Let's see. What's up, O? Good to see you. O in the house. Let's see. The Dork Knight is here. Says, I am here. Let's go. It's game, baby. Heck yeah. Keely Chow is here. Says, hey, everybody. Good to see you, Keely Chow. Fourth 1000 is here. Good to see you, Fourth 1000. Let's see. Was Batman cut out of the Aquaman movie? Is he gone? Who the heck knows anymore? Who the heck? Everybody could be. For all we know, Henry, this could all be. I saw. Oh my gosh. This is hilarious. I saw a TikTok video today of a dude who was talking about. So at first I thought I was going to tune him out because he started talking about Ezra Miller right off the bat. And when he started talking about Ezra Miller, I was like, every time I start hearing somebody talk about Ezra Miller, especially in a TikTok video where people are trying to get in and out, really quick with their comments or whatever, I was like, what's it going to be? And first he was like, hey, I just want you to know I've done some research. He goes and like all that stuff. He's like, I found out that a lot of that stuff, wasn't true and everything like that. And I was like, okay, all right, maybe this guy has actually done his research. And then he drops the bomb that this was all a marketing ploy of Warner Brothers for The Flash. So like all of the negative stuff that happened to Ezra Miller was somehow just marketing for the Flash movie. Yeah, I don't think that works. I don't think that theory works. I don't think that is going to tread water. I'll be honest with you. That you lost me on that one, man. Because if all the stuff had been true, if all the stuff had been, right, that's very damaging and it's horrible. It's career-ending stuff. If it's not true, then we need to analyze it and figure out what's not, what is, and move on from there. But I don't see that Warner Brothers was somehow using this all as some big marketing ploy to try to get people's attention so that they would pay attention to the Flash movie. Heck no. Yeah, so I don't know, 4,000. Who knows what's going to end up being in this movie by the time it's done, right? I have also seen a lot of publicity for Megan. I need to see Megan. But it was slimmed down to a PG-13 rating. Interesting. Tonight, Tiffany and I actually watched Violent Night finally. Violent Night, what a great movie. What a great movie. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of new Christmas movies that I really love, but I love Violent Night, and I love Fat Man from a couple of years ago. So, yeah, great movie. Warner Brothers management should have never been up to The Rock. Oh, well, no, yeah, but I think even his management is way off. I mean, like Garcia is. I'm really glad that apparently Henry Cavill has walked away from her. I know somebody said this. She's still like some kind of advisor or whatever, but she was not helping Henry Cavill at all. Hey, Tiff-tastic is in the chat. What's up, lovely Tiff-tastic? That's my wife. Good to see Tiff here in there. Everybody's saying hi. Yes, maybe Hollywood is punking us. Wouldn't surprise me, Tiff. I'll be honest with you. You never know with some of the stuff that's been out there. Fourth 1000 says, with all these actors not being cut from the DCEU, do you think they might plan to bring Cavill back in the first movie as a fleshed out origin? I don't know. I mean, there's all that talk about, the Black Adam is not part of the first chapter or whatever of this DC universe. Who knows, man? Literally we could get like 5-6 movies in and all of a sudden there's like Henry Cavill and you're like, what the heck? And he's in some other universe or something, I mean, it doesn't make any sense, man. They could use all the negative publicity for Ezra and put it into the Flash movie and say Reverse Flash did it. Yeah, but with some of the topics that were being discussed, though, with all this stuff, I don't know that would be such a good idea, to be honest with you. It is. Rational skeptic, and here's the thing is I'm still hoping to get Ezra on here at some point. Ezra has been through so much that I don't know when that's going to happen. But I know that he wanted to come on. I will say this. If they start keeping some in the end and letting others go, it is going to sting. It's going to be very, very frustrating for sure. I have not seen Terrifier 2 yet. We watched the first one over Thanksgiving because, good, wholesome Thanksgiving movie to watch with the kids. Terrifier 1. We have not seen Terrifier 2 yet because it just hasn't been high on the priority list, and we've watched a couple other things together. So, yeah. But it is on the list. It is on the list. I heard another rumor from the Superman thing. 2, actually. Ooh, you heard 2 rumors, Levon. Well, do tell. Violent Night is a good double feature alongside Fat Man. Yeah, I had a blast watching it with a crowd last year in the theater. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. Hey, that's excellent news. Damar Hamlin woke up. Thank goodness. Thank God for that. I know a lot of prayers been going out for Damar, so that's awesome. That's awesome news. Thank you, Aaron, for sharing that with us. Really, really appreciate that. Let's see. Eat My Tacos says, Enosh, when are we going to watch all Fast Furious movies? I'll watch Fast Furious movies as soon as, or when am I going to watch them? I'll get to them. I got to do a watch party of Superman 3 and 4 here because I promised Integrity 101. And we'll get there. I gotta find a time that I can do it because, Tiffany, I see, that's things like people really want me to watch the Fast and the Furious movies, Tiff. And I feel like I need to watch them at some point just to get it in, to be able to say I've done it so that people cannot, hound me about it anymore. But that, it'll be done and said for. But speaking of which, Sith Holocron, my friend, Sith Holocron is an uber nerd here at the channel, is a member. And Sith Holocron, you won our latest giveaway. So if you would like, if you don't want them, let me know and I'll put them back up. But the first 7 Fast and the Furious movies here on Blu-ray, you can see right there on Blu-ray. And so, Sith Holocron, you won this fair and square, straight up. And so, it comes in a tire. It's a cool rubber tire too. And, it's got the, Fast and the Furious logo right there on it. And so it's a cool rubber tire. And so, Sith Holocron, if you want this, let me know. If you don't want it, we'll put it back up and do another giveaway and maybe we'll send you a shirt or something. Okay. Instead, but let me know because, I'd like to, get it out to you because you want it. And so, haven't seen you in a minute and you haven't responded when I saw you in the chat. So, we'll see. So I feel like I got to get there. At some point I got to watch them. It is what it is. All right. Tiffany says, if you do, I will, babe. Take one for the team. Watch those darn movies. Darth Skipio, everybody tells me different ones to watch, right? So, hey, all you need to do is watch 1 and 4. I don't know. Apparently they're going into space now. I feel like it's, it almost reminds me of Sharknado now a little bit, but whatever. We'll get there. What's up, plushies? Good to see you, plushies DX. Yes, it is fancy. Yes, it's a tire. Okay, that being said, what's up, Watcher? The Watcher is here. All right. Okay, so right now I only got one guest in the back, and that's fine. But we're going to go ahead and bring him in and get the show started and start talking about our topics and see where the night takes us, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, longtime friend of the show, got his own channel. He's kind of revamping a little bit, going sports a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel, Mr. Brodan. What's up, Brodan?
Hey.
What's going on, man?
I'm playing Madden right now, so my ADHD's working for me right now.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. You sent me earlier. Brodan knows I'm a big. Obviously,
I'm so
I'm in
sorry to send
Michigan.
you this.
I'm in Michigan, but you know what? It doesn't look like it's that.
It looks like a bunch of suspensions coming for maybe you think Harbaugh's going to get suspended. To be honest, I'm not really
Looks
a
like
big
some
harper
minor
on that.
stuff. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah,
It doesn't look like.
it's one of those things I go, every program has done these things, guys. They do it all. Every program that has any bit of money will do the same thing. Michigan's done. It's all about getting caught. If you don't get caught, no harm, no foul. Oh, no, we lost him. Oh,
No,
there
sorry,
he
I
is.
had to blow my nose.
That's fun.
No, yeah, no, it looks like that apparently there were some text messages, and they may have had like somebody like helping out from
Yeah.
the sideline that wasn't supposed to or whatever. So we'll see what happens. But I don't think there's any major
I
thing. And
think you
people are
might see
saying
a
the heart.
suspension or two. That's nothing major. I don't think they're
No.
gonna death ball the program. Thank God.
No, and people saying that Harbaugh is like going to the NFL. He's
No,
not going to every
he's
year.
not.
Every year it's Harbaugh's going to the
He
NFL.
makes
No.
way too much money doing what he's doing. He's a college guy. Listen,
He
if
loves Michigan. He is a Michigan guy.
he loves
played
it,
at Michigan.
I mean, one day if the right franchise gave him the right offer with the quarterback already ready to go, yeah, because that's
well, I don't think. But you know, and sorry for all of you who aren't football fans. Don't worry, we're not going to stay on this. I promise. So don't leave.
you need a sports channel on here.
I do. We should do a sports show.
I'm just saying.
But that's the thing that the Point Extra Lounge is missing, a sports show. But I will say this, like with Harbaugh, I feel like he there's some things that he wants to accomplish still at Michigan. You know what I mean? And so like I don't feel that like he's going to if he feels that those things are within reach, like a national championship or whatever. If he feels that those things are within reach, he'll stick around.
I'll keep it honest though. It's one if there's one thing that is lingering on him. It's that Super Bowl. He was that close. I remember that night, and he was pissed. And I'll keep it real. That's why I say if it's the right offer, but I think that's years upon years away. I don't think you don't get a golden opportunity like that any freaking season. But I think he wants to win the national title first, or get Michigan up to that level. Then you can discuss the later stuff. But I think for right now, Michigan has their guy for the next 10 years at best.
Dude, no. Elliot Page is not.
What no? No.
Elliot Page, look,
no,
Elliot Page
no,
is not
no,
in the
no,
running for Superman.
No.
Elliot Page is not in the running for Superman. No.
No. They or I don't know what their pronouns are, but they are not in. I don't see them doing it. Sorry.
No.
Not gonna happen.
No, Elliot Page is not in the running for Superman.
Please, no. I don't think anyone needs to see that. In the sense that I just don't think it would work.
I don't think anybody wants that. I don't think anybody wants that. Seriously. No. Look, of course, there's always going to be some weird oddball person that I don't mean because of like who Elliot Page is or their background or whatever. I'm just saying there's always going to be some weird oddball person that doesn't know anything about a character that goes, oh, well, wouldn't it be great to see somebody like that in that role? Well, here's the thing. It's a certain role. And it needs a certain kind of actor. You know what I get tired of? Listen, I do get tired of hearing people suggest people for roles that like they have no business being near. Not because of their sexual preferences or their whether or not they're part of the LGBTQ or backgrounds or whatever, or skin color or whatever. Nothing to do with that. Just because they fit a certain mold of a certain type of character. I don't know, man. We live in a weird world sometimes where like people try to shoehorn in some actors into roles that just don't make sense for them. You know what I mean? I'm a bigger guy who I don't have the square jaw, right? I got kind of a rounder head. I would not be as much as man. I could put on a Superman costume and have a lot of fun because I'm a Superman fan.
Wouldn't be a fit.
I wouldn't be a fit for
Superman.
You
don't have the hair, you don't have the look, you don't have the voice.
I can have the hair. You don't
have the hair, but you gotta dye it black.
But no, man, it's I don't have the body type. I don't have that, and
you don't got the voice. It's a different role. It's a tight casted role, and I'm sorry, but when I hear Denzel Washington for Green Lantern, I want to put my head through a wall. It's no.
Oh, he's too
No,
old for
no.
the role now. Look, there's
He's
a
too
lot of people.
old.
There's a lot of people that I feel like are frozen in time for us too, right? They were like, oh, this person would be great, and it's like, no, they're. Have you seen them in the last few years? Like they're getting old, man. They're
Yeah, it needs to be said. That's one of the things like that bothers me with the fan casting. There's a reason it's called fan casting. You guys don't really cast anything, thank God. And I'm sorry if anyone gets offended by that, but you guys are not in the business for a reason because your casting's horrible. Sorry.
Yeah. Let's see. Enosh, has there been any announcement for when James Gunn and Peter Safran are going to officially announce the projects coming up? He said sometime after the new year. Yeah, no, there's not been any official announcement yet. We're still waiting. It's kind of imminent.
It's coming.
We'll see. We'll see when it gets here. And trust me, when it gets here, we will be doing in-depth coverage of what those projects will be and what they will be.
Yay.
Let's
That'll
see.
be fun.
Levon says, that's right. The second name was Wolfgang Novogratz? Who is that? I don't know who that is. Hold on a second here. Wolfgang. Well, it's not even the most popular Wolfgang. No.
Let me look.
No,
No.
hold on a second. No.
Too young. He looks too young. If anything, he doesn't look.
I mean,
growing
even
into anything.
beyond young, man, he doesn't have the face. He doesn't have the.
I think if he got bigger, he could pull it off when he's older.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, there's some of these pictures now I'm looking at. I mean, there's a couple here, maybe.
That's what I'm seeing it, guys. I'm seeing that if he could pull that off. You know what?
But
In
a few of
years,
these, he looks a little young.
Yeah, give me like 3-4 years, and we'll have this conversation.
Yeah, I mean he looked like he could be.
You know what?
Superboy.
Connor, perfect Connor.
Oh my gosh,
Connor.
Heck
perfect.
yeah. Heck yeah. You know what? Either Connor or even a Jonathan Kent.
I could see John or Connor. I prefer Connor because I hate Jonathan, but I prefer Connor. I think he's a perfect. Yeah, you know what? Superboy. I could see it.
Yeah, I could see a John Kent here, but I could also see Connor. Yeah, I could see Connor's Connell as well. Yeah, dude, that would be fine. He's in the ballpark.
He is. He's
in
the
just
right
doesn't look like
range.
he's got
not old
the
enough yet.
Yeah, he's just not old enough yet. So
he's 25. Yeah, he's gonna have to call us when he's 30. When he's 30, we'll give him a role.
I mean, he's like, you look at this picture right here. He does. Oh, wait, I haven't even shared this. Dang it. Okay, I'm sharing it right now. Dang, I apologize, guys. Again, StreamYard fails me. But yeah, here's some of the pictures of him. So I mean, I kind of see it like this one right here. You can see the jawline here. I mean, you just add some age.
You know what
to
the
that
worst
face.
thing is? Now I'm seeing Tom Cruise right now. A little bit of Tom Cruise.
There's a couple that are a little Tom Cruisey.
I can see the Tom Cruise in it.
Little Tom Cruise.
You know what? We can have a young Maverick discussion. You know what? Never mind. I thought about it. Never mind. That's a terrible idea. I thought it, and it's terrible. Never mind.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, some of these, like I said, I can see it a little bit. But yeah, just let's age him into it, man. Let's not jump ahead, shall we? No, Darskipio, nobody's offering him $20 million. He's already making. What's he making at Michigan? He's already making like a ton of money at Michigan.
A lot of money. Like I said, it'd have to be a perfect situation with the quarterback already set. It'd have to be like a Super Bowl ready roster. Then you make that decision.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Like
Tyler
I said, that's not going to happen
either. I don't see that Tyler Heckling guy as Superman either.
I don't really care for Tyler Heckling. He's okay, but I don't see it either. He doesn't really scream Superman to me either. I never thought of much of him as Superman. Yeah. I just don't see it. I never saw it.
The Watcher says, I can confirm Elliot Page is not going to be Superman. LOL. What's up? Hal Jordan says, late to the party. Wolfgang is a fan cast, not a rumor.
Of course he is.
John Cena as the Flash.
Yes.
You guys are funny.
Thank
you, Fourth. I appreciate that, Fourth. I appreciate the love. Speedy Peter Dinklage as the Flash. Let's make it happen.
I could see him as Bart. I'm going to hell for that, I know.
Timothy Chalamet. Am I the only one who's not impressed with Timothy Chalamet?
Not as a. I liked Timothy Chalamet in certain things, but to be honest with you guys, he was not the part of Dune I gave a damn about.
Okay.
Sorry.
I
And
don't
Will
know.
Patton's
Not
character.
Nightwing. Timothy Chalamet. There's not enough. Nightwing. No.
No. Listen. The only reason I would even consider the one playing him now has nothing to do with build. It has everything to do how good how his face looks exactly like Dick Grayson and his mannerisms are exactly like Dick Grayson. But God, if we can make him 6'2", we're in business. We're in business. But he's 5'8". It's disappointing.
Why do you hate?
Like
Why do you hate John Kent, bro?
I don't care for the character. I think it's, you know what? I grew up on Connor, and I'm going to keep it that way. So screw him. That's how I feel.
Okay. I like young Jonathan Kent.
Yeah,
I think that it was a mistake to age him up so quickly, just to have an older character. That's my biggest problem with Jonathan. I don't even hate, like, if we would have like told stories from later down the line with an older Jonathan Kent, right? You know, like
you gotta develop it more. Then that's the problem. They kind of just pushed it out there, and then it's just
it was just way too quick. It was just way too quick when they
right.
People keep talking about David Cornsweet, and I don't like that one. I don't like that one. That is not one that I like. I can see the Wolfgang guy, but yeah, no, I don't like that one at all. Also, ladies and gentlemen, here is Anthony. What's up, Anthony?
Nicholas Holt.
How you doing, sir?
Doing great.
Good, man. Good to see you tonight. Nicholas Holt is
no.
Superman. Who is
I
that?
Can't do it.
Beast.
No.
Oh, I've seen that too. No,
I just can't, dude. You could give it a shot, but I'm not gonna think of, I'm gonna think of Hank, man.
Well,
Jake Gyllenhaal. No. I don't like that one either. I don't like, you know which ones I don't like when anybody starts talking about Batman is Jake Gyllenhaal or what's his name, who was on Supernatural, who played
Jason Ackles.
Jason Ackles, man. That one, for some reason, that one just drives me bonkers. I cannot stand when I hear people talk about that.
Jensen's just too old now, but I would have done him as Red Hood one of these days, but he's too old now, so that sucks.
I mean, you could have done Red Hood with Ben Affleck with him for sure, but I mean, I think.
The problem is people don't understand. It's not the Batman part that bothers me about Jensen. It's the Bruce Wayne part.
You know what? Actually, I agree with Hal Jordan. Aaron Taylor Johnson as Batman, yes, because he's young. He's 32, and he'd be a perfect age for Batman for James Gunn. Because so let's be like the Kraven the Hunter movie is not going to do good at the box office. That's not going to be good. Oh yeah, he's rumored to play James Bond right now, so I'll be up for that.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird that's kind of a weird one too. Is
Aaron Taylor Johnson?
Yeah.
I don't know, because he's young. He's 32, and I could see him play. I mean, he's young. He could play a franchise for 10 years, just like James Bond. He could play him for 10 years too.
Yeah.
So I could see.
I mean, I'm not saying no to that one. I'm not saying no to that one, but I don't know that I'm saying yes to it either. I'm kind of on the fence about that one.
Bullet Train was a good movie, and the action there's. I could see Batman a little bit if he trained.
Jensen could not be Green Arrow. Honestly, the only one I would pick for Green Arrow is Charlie Hunnam. Charlie Hunnam looks like Green Arrow walking out.
I don't see him as Green Arrow. I think if he does like a DC project for James Gunn, it'll be something different. It'll be like a different character, just not those.
He looks exactly like Oliver Queen. Exactly.
Oh yeah, with the beard and everything.
Yeah, he has The only thing I would say is the problem I have with Charlie is the acting needs to be a bit more up and jokey.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to have more personality. He can't be Jax Teller, and that's one of the things I always have a problem with
especially with the relationship with Black Canary too. You have to have the chemistry.
I think he could pull it off if he acts more like himself, which I've seen him in interviews. He could pull it off, but yeah, I think he'd be a perfect Green Arrow if we're gonna pick. That's always been my casting. If I was gonna cast anyone to play that role for Oliver Queen, it was going to be Charlie Hunnam.
Oh my god, bro! I know, like, oof, Zach probably would have got him as Green Arrow. I don't think they're probably gonna get like a guy actor who's probably 30 or 40 years old to play Green Arrow.
Well, he is 30, 40 years old. But I don't think they're gonna pick him anyway.
No.
I think Gunn will have. Well, I don't even know we're gonna be discussing Green Arrow right now. They have to establish a base of a trinity here, so that's a long ways away to even talk about Green Arrow. But
I mean, you could have Green Arrow introduced, like it just be like, let's say if you're gonna introduce an animation or in a video game, just something like that, because they do them both, I guess. Which is, I don't know how you're gonna do a video game based on your just, video games take a long time to make too. Like, so I mean, you can introduce him or like have him as a background character or something, or mention something that Batman is doing a business with Oliver Queen or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could combine it. You could combine it. It could be in there. Excuse me. Sorry, I was
Just
just
Ted Cord existed in the DCU, but we just never saw the character, like Ted Cord Industries, like we just So yeah.
I have not, Ryan. Ryan here with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Ryan. Says, have you seen the trailer for Renfield? No, Renfield. No, I have not.
It looks interesting. It looks interesting.
That's the Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Nicolas Cage, whatchamacallit movie, right?
Dracula movie. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I have not seen that yet, and I thought that I would save that for the family, to do a trailer reaction for.
I'd save that actually.
Yeah. So let's see. Rational Skeptic says that he DM'd me a cool concept art. Where'd you DM it to, bro?
Yeah, I also talking about Superman.
There's places where you can DM me, and but I don't know where you DM'd it to me.
I agree. I would rather have Wolfgang Peterson. I think that's his name, right? Wolfgang, as maybe Superman. If you're going a younger, like a 25-year-old actor or 30 to play.
It's not Peterson. Wolfgang Peterson is the director.
Oh, so which one are you talking
about? It's Wolfgang. What was his name? We just had it there. I'm sorry, I'm looking at something else, but yeah, no. What's his name? I'm actually looking at a picture of him right now next to Henry Cavill, and I could see him as a younger version.
He does look like Henry a little bit, but not that much. I saw pictures on Twitter too. I was like, I could see him playing Superman because he's a young actor. He's younger and stuff like that. But Batman has to be at least 30 years old in that universe to work. Can't be younger. You're already doing Robert Pattinson.
So right here is Wolfgang, and then here is Henry. So.
I don't see it.
I mean, I can kind of see it, but like I said,
you didn't click it.
Oh, did I not? Dang it! What the heck, man? Like, I swear, like, StreamYard is just ticking me off, man.
No, Watcher, I don't listen. If you're having a younger Superman that is probably going to be 25 years old or whatever.
Okay, so here's Henry. Here's Henry, right? Here's Henry, and then here's Wolfgang.
Holy, they did look alike. Yeah, a little bit. I could see a little bit.
Yeah, they look. They do look alike. I mean, he does have a younger look for that. But yeah, what's up, Godfather? What's up, Prime?
What's good, man?
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Wolfgang is a cool name. I mean, look at Eddie Van Halen.
No, you're already doing Robert Pattinson year 2 as Batman. Like, how old is James Gunn Batman going to be? Like, come on, you can't. 25-year-old Batman? Sure, you could.
Thank you, Nicotina. Appreciate that. Yes, it's a new mic. I got the new mic. My wife bought me the mic for Christmas. So, yeah. So, and I dig it. I got it. I still got to set up my my soundboard and everything. But yeah. Thank you, Nicotina. Always welcome to be on the show, Nicotina. Okay. Also, let's see. Yeah. So where is this concept art? I'm trying to figure out where he sent it to me at. He said he sent me some concept art, and so I'm
Not a.
trying to see which one he sent
You
it to
could
me.
have younger Superman, younger Batman, but you're already doing Robert Pattinson was like year 2 as Batman, and he's like, come on, you know.
Where? What is this? What is this concept art for? It just looks like all it looks like is Affleck in Christian Bale's outfit.
Oh please! I saw that Max stream earlier. I was like, no, just
Is that
no.
what you're talking about? That's all I'm seeing here.
I don't like this. If it was like the Batman Begins suit, then yes. But I don't like the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises suits.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'll take the
Batman Begins.
gosh, man, no, I wouldn't want to see Affleck in that suit. I want Affleck in I like Affleck suit, to be honest with you. I just
Yeah,
that's
I
what I
just said that.
prefer. But
I mean, if it was like a younger Ben Affleck, sure, but like no, just
I mean, it just looks like Christian Bale's suit is all
yeah.
basically looks like to me.
Don't
Yeah.
I don't see it.
I don't know. All right. So jumping right in here, I think we're going to jump right in with The Rock. We've talked a lot about Mr. Rock here over the last few months. There's some people who now absolutely love The Rock, and they think that he was there to save everything, that he could have saved everything. He did bring us Henry Cavill. I'll be honest with you though, the more I look at, people don't have to agree with me, but the more that I look at it, I question whether The Rock had the best motives and intention for bringing Cavill in. It feels like, I mean, I want to believe him when he says, you know, hey, look, I respect Henry Cavill as Superman. It feels like it was more kind of like, hey, let's get a win for our production company. Let's get a win for The Rock. Let's get a win for Danny Garcia's or Garcia. I'm sorry, Garcia's. That's not even a word. Garcia. You know, for Hiram Garcia, you know, her brother or whatever, and let's try to take over DC. You know, as far as that goes. I don't know. What are your guys' feelings on that of The Rock in general?
Listen, I followed The Rock his whole career, basically. The dude is he is for himself. He is someone who is kind of in his own CEO. Maybe not for better or for worse, but it's an ego thing. If you look at every franchise, it's always ended with him having an ego. He did the same thing with the Fast and Furious franchise. Two egos butted head in Vin Diesel and The Rock, and it blew up in everyone's faces. I think what he wanted to do here was make Black Adam and Superman into the faces of DC. The problem is only one of those can be the face of DC. The other one is a Shazam villain, which he so haphazardly decided not to put in that movie. So the bad management, of course, from DC did not help this at all. He should have went to the proper channels to even to make this sort of move, and they went with this plan that was like what the third straight, I guess, storyline plan they've had. You went from the Snyderverse to whatever the hell you're going with from Aquaman to now this. It was a half-assed move, and I think it completely, absolutely blew up in his face because of that. It sucks, but it just felt as though this move was made out of desperation rather than actually having a real plan. Anything to grab someone in. That's it.
I just wish that The Rock, instead of The Rock getting Henry Cavill, like he got Henry Cavill back. Yes, we love that. I wish he would have just gotten to do like sign a contract before he did that. Like get the contract ready and start. Like, and now we're never gonna see Henry Cavill again as Superman.
I wouldn't say
After the
never,
movie,
but Won't say never.
Now I know I know William's got his own opinion about this, saying that because like he said last night when we were talking about how The Rock went behind everybody's back, went straight to Zaslav. Now I think at the time there was nobody really in charge of DC, so I could understand doing that, and I understand the idea of trying to get stuff done, right? And sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just can't wait around, and you got to go and do what you're going to do, get it done, and get the job done. I get that. But here's the thing. And William, you and I talk a lot about business, right? And so, yes, there's being a shrewd business person and getting stuff done. And then there's also making yourself come across as somebody that puts people off, shows that you don't understand chain of command, also shows that you don't really respect the other people that you're working around, that you are trying to exclude others, and what your real motivations are. And
even if he's trying to do what other people weren't supposed to do, he didn't do it properly. You did it in a half-assed way that didn't really work because they were not willing to sign him clearly. So it
didn't work. It didn't work at all. Whatever he was trying to do, whether it was with good intentions or bad intentions or whatever,
didn't work.
It just didn't. It didn't end up working.
And that's the problem. You didn't go through the proper channels to get it done correctly. And once again, I'd like to just say the idea of the Black Adam movie makes absolutely zero sense in the first place because it should have, again, the origin should have been like the first, like the actual original origin, because that makes the most sense. Because Sivana was already involved in Shazam, because Sivana's the one that awoke in Black Adam. Would have been simple, nice, end of movie, nice credit scene where Sivana's in the jail. He accidentally opens Black Adam or some shit, whatever. Mm-hmm. That's it. Simple as that. And then you could do a Black Adam movie if you really wanted to, based on that. But you didn't. You went to this ridiculous length to not do that. And yes, I appreciate him bringing in the JSA. He did bring in a lot I did care for. But again, it's just a bigger symptom of the bigger problem at DC. You're grasping at straws. And that's all they did, grasp at straws.
I mean, I get the point that what you're saying, but you also have to look at it from this perspective as well. Well, I'll just be completely blunt. You got to make movies for the general casual audience. You have to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the general casual audience are stupid. You have to spoon feed them with something simple for them to really gravitate to it. And that's what they did. For what it was worth, it was a good film. And if you really think about it, I get what you're saying. Because we're fans and we already know the actual continuity.
It's not even that, though, but they didn't actually do the right thing. Because if they did, they would have set it up through Shazam, which would have got people anticipated for the movie better.
I get it. And I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that. But how Dwayne Johnson and how he was looking at it and what he wanted to do is that he wanted Black Adam to be his own entity so it could be known. What backfired was that people don't know Black Adam. If you would have just went ahead and just, let's just say hypothetically, this would be the proper way, in my estimation, it probably wouldn't even got to that point. But let's just say if it did and it continued. Shazam 2 was coming out. You introduce Black Adam. Then you go ahead and you do his movie, because then people would know, okay, well, who is this character?
Right.
What is that? Then his movie out. The Rock wasn't trying to do that. He wanted to put it out for it could be his own entity. And for people to gravitate to it, he wanted to bring Superman, which we do know that they do fight in the comics, in the books, from time to time. Not a lot. I think they only fought each other, like 3 times? 2 or 3 times?
Yeah, it hasn't been much. And I'll be the first to admit that cartoon was great. That short.
The animated movie? Yeah.
Well, it was fantastic. That should bother everyone is the fact that this has already been done when Shazam, Superman, and Black Adam already fought in the animated movie. This has been done. They could have just went through that. But like I said, this was done because, again, DC doesn't have a plan. They have 2 to 3 people on their own projects, and there's nothing connecting to it, and they have no continuity. So that's what happened.
And I agree with that. And this is the thing that people failing to realize, too, with that. Because let's just say hypothetically, let's just say we didn't have a DC Studios, and let's just say James Gunn wasn't going to have it. It was already going to be a mess anyway. actually this is all a blessing because you're getting rid of all the chaos and all the band-aids and all the stuff that was actually going on. You're just getting rid of it. And you're going to start.
I hope if they don't, if they're going to reboot though, Prime, don't you think that like, cause like I would say that too, right? Like if that's what we're finally doing and we're going to move on and they're going to reboot it. Like I'm as big as everybody is saying, look, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to see an end to the Snyderverse. I wanted to see a proper fitting ending to those characters and that storyline and all those things. Right. But
right, exactly.
I agree with you. Let's not drag it out over another decade and try to put Band-Aids on it and maybe try to replace this person. And, oh, hey, you know what? Yeah, we really do want to use the character of Cyborg, so we'll just go ahead and recast Cyborg and piss everybody off. And, hey, like whether or not what we think of Ezra Miller here, this week or that week or whatever, we'll get rid of him or not get rid of him or whatever. And Ben Affleck's in, Ben Affleck's out. Ben Affleck's in, Ben Affleck's out. Henry Cavill's too old, yet he's perfect. Yet he's too old, yet he's perfect. Yet he looks great. Everybody's excited, but no, we're not going to give it to you. So, like, I agree that I wanted to get to a point where we just said, look, if we're not going to have all these people, I don't want to see everybody recast within the same universe. That's pointless. If you're going to recast everybody, move on, make something new. And I know that there's some people, they don't like the term reboot. William is one of them. William hates that term. William hates talking about reboots and everything. And I respect William. I get it. And I totally understand it, William. But I also understand that the general public, what confuses what you risk confusing the general public with is when you have 4 movies coming out next year that are in a universe that apparently doesn't exist anymore. Yep. That's what confuses people.
Right, and they don't know nothing about that. So you have to look at it. You got to look at it for that perspective. You got
not just rebooting. I mean, you can reboot. Like if you put out enough publicity and you say, "Hey, we're restarting DC," there's a lot of people that will come back to it just because they didn't like Snyder's stuff.
Right, and that's the key thing. That's the key thing. You have to remember there's a lot of people that just didn't gravitate to it. So when they didn't gravitate to it, you have to come to a median now. So I get it. What a lot of people are actually saying, I completely get it.
Hold on, wait. Todd, are you saying that general movie fans are the reason Marvel does better than DC films? Hello.
Well, that's a stupid ass.
But we just said, but Prime just said that general movie fans are stupid. So what you're saying is that Marvel does better because general fans are stupid.
No.
Think about it.
I gotta give Todd a hard time. Come on, Todd gives us a hard time all the time, so I gotta give Todd a hard time. Go ahead.
They do better because they actually know what they're doing.
I'm gonna let Anthony, because I know Ant trying to get on the bit. But what I'm saying is that is when you look across the board, and if you really when you really pay attention to a lot of people, take yourself out of it as a fan, because you have to look at the other lens. Okay, you have to really look at the lens. Let me give you an example. If you have a movie where all the details, the dialogue, the presentation, the actual, everything is presented to those individuals, okay?
Yeah.
And they don't get it, and even when you tell them and you show them, they still don't get it.
Yeah.
They stupid. They got to be spoon-fed certain things for them to understand that it's simplistic. That is why the MCU works. Because it's simplistic. It's not sophisticated. It's simple, and they get it. If you do something, that's with anything. Like if you just say, for instance, because I do a lot of this stuff in my spare time. I just love doing it. I look at people's reaction videos. And when they watch it and when you listen to them, I'm like, really? Are you don't get that? It's right there in front of your face.
I know, man. I know.
It's right there.
My son, who is 17 years old, I went to go pick him up yesterday morning because he was at his mom's house a Tuesday night. And I picked him up for school Wednesday. And we're on our way. And he goes, Dad, I said, yeah. He goes, I just watched Batman v Superman again last night, and he loves Batman v Superman, and so we're driving, and stuff. He's going to be 18 next week, and he said, "I don't get it." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I don't get these people who don't understand that movie. Who are these people?" Like, are these people? He says, I look at all the same stuff you see on Twitter and Facebook and just people in general who want to argue about Batman v Superman. And they don't understand the characters. They don't understand the motivations. And he's like, it's not that hard.
And they make it hard. That's what I'm saying. If an 17-year-old, an 18-year-old, this is the sad thing. I know 14 and 15-year-olds that get BBS.
Well,
but you guys,
he's that old now. He's that old now, Prime. When he was young, man, he got it. He understood it.
Thank you. But you got grown folks that they can't even comprehend it. That's what, and people go say, well, you shouldn't generalize everybody. I'm not generalizing everybody. What I'm saying is that majority of the general casual audience, they are stupid. They really are. They are stupid. So you got to look at it. I don't care if I offend people. I keep it 100 what it is because it's not what I'm not generalizing. I see it. I hear it. I'm looking at them. You can look at hundreds and hundreds of people and you can actually see it. They'd be like, duh. And it's like,
right. You can see the blanks. You can hear the blank stares on their faces.
You can see it. So I'm like, what are you not getting? So you have to look at it for that. But anyway, to get back on the topic of what we're saying is that, look, the reboot and everything makes sense. James Gunn is going to reboot all this. And whatever it is that he has to do, you have to get, and I'm going to say it until I'm blue in the face. Everything that's from the old regime, and I get it. We want it. We want the chapter to be finished. It's done. It's over with. They got to get rid of everything from the old regime. That stuff is so tarnished, got so many Band-Aids. It got so much bad blood from it. Get away from it. Rewrite, just get rid of everything. I know there's characters that that I have been attached to for the past 10 years. Like everybody that's on this panel, everybody that's in the audience, we've been accustomed to these characters for 10 years. But when it comes down to business, this is what you got to do. It's like the same thing if you holding a sports organization. If the owner brings in a new GM, what that new GM gonna do? He gonna get rid of all those other people and bring in his people. So you got to look at it like that. You got to refurnish the whole thing.
I just feel like they need to, and if they do that, okay. What they need to do is they have to promote that as such. I think I think it's so weird that we're at this point where it's like, hey, we're rebooting, but we don't know who's in, we don't know who's out. This actor might stay, that actor might go. Today, John Campea, I thought was going to blow a blood vessel hearing about the fact that Ezra Miller might stay, dropping F-bombs and everything else, saying, that he's crazy, which I think is hilarious because he's in one breath saying, dropping F-bombs and saying like, whoever keeps Ezra Miller needs to be fired. But I like Ezra Miller, but he needs to be punished. But half the stuff we don't know what happened, and that's the thing. His stuff got dropped and whatnot, and the one lady he has on there, the blonde, says, well, this is beyond allegations now. No, it's literally all been allegations.
First of all, one of the allegations is from a person who alleged that a woman was kidnapped into a barn. But let me make this long story short. The woman he's alleging, that woman alleged the actual the person alleging this shit of abusing her. So the accuser is the abuser, allegedly. So that's an unreliable witness just to begin with.
Well, and they're making grooming jokes and everything like that when the girl in question actually has come forward and said it didn't happen, and he had his day in court. They had their day in court, and nothing came of it. Literally, it got put down, right? So. All right, it is what it is.
Can we delete? Can someone please delete this person?
Yeah, I got
go
it.
away.
Oh,
Yep,
the
I got it.
yeah. You gotta get rid of that
Yeah,
because he's
yeah,
spamming.
yeah. I got it. I got the
Yeah,
spam out.
the sex
But you know what I
bots.
mean? Like, and I don't have the clip forth readily available right now to just play. But that was my thing. Like, they were making jokes about the things that Ezra had done or supposedly done or been accused of doing, and again, most of that stuff was either dismissed or
Yeah.
gone or didn't happen, and it was accusations. And like I said, I think a lot of it was just that it was stacked upon top of stacking because people were just willing to to do that because they saw a way to get their way with different things, via. And that's not to say that Ezra Miller is completely innocent of all things, or that he hasn't made mistakes, or that they didn't need to get some kind of rehabilitation or whatnot. It's just that, like, they're saying, well, they can go on and do something else. Well, if they're successful in role, well, this movie could come out, and they were saying, like, even if the movie makes $1 billion, that Ezra shouldn't come back. And I'm like, if that movie makes $1 billion and people love the movie,
Well, they might have something to build off of.
yeah, it's a Flash movie. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Like you're saying
That's
you're
what
okay
it's
with
hard to do.
if you're saying you're okay with Ezra Miller going off and doing something else. We just got to keep Ezra away from DC. Like,
It makes no sense.
I don't understand that.
I would say the reason why they will keep Miller, and I will say this, and this is what people have to look at it from a business perspective. Look at it from this thing, and I thought about it for a while. Yes, it'll be the right thing because he is part of the old regime. He did have allegations, but he wasn't convicted of anything. He's not in jail. Now, this is what they're anticipating on. You haven't heard anything for Ezra Miller for about, I would say, once June comes around for the movie come out.
Yeah.
The last incident that we heard anything from Ezra Miller, I would say it was about 3 months ago. I would say about now. Say three. About the allegations. Was it like 3 months ago?
It's been a little bit longer now.
5 or 6
No.
months. Yeah,
So
5 or 6 months,
okay, something around that. So think about this. By the time the movie's out, Ezra is not in the media. He's not doing anything. Only thing that we know, he's doing rehab. By the time that movie come out, it's gonna be a year. You think the general casual audience is gonna know what the hell going on? No, because he's not gonna be in the media unless people start bringing it up, which they will, but it's not gonna get blown up all like that. It's not, because he's not convicted of anything. These are things that was done over a year ago, just about, or almost a year ago. So you have to look at it from that perspective. And this is pretty much it's the first Flash film on the big screen solo. So if it does well, they're going to keep him. If it does not, I will not be surprised. Or even if it does not what they expect it to do, they will have to go through the crossroads and evaluate to be like, okay, are we just going to change it because that stink from the old regime is still there? Or, you have to look at it from both sides. So we have to wait. But right now, they gonna keep him on. And at the same time, they don't want to bring out no news that could jeopardize that movie.
Right. And Darth, I hear you on this. If and that's the thing is people are absolutely entitled to their opinion. The problem is Darth Scipio, I will say this. Most of the people that I hear, they're not judging Ezra Miller by whether or not they liked him as the Flash. They're just not.
I love him as the Flash.
Yeah, most of the discussion that has happened out there, I mean, like, look, if you say that you don't like him as the Flash, that's fine. And I'll have that conversation because I'll be honest with you, I didn't like him as the Flash in Justice League. Justice League was horrible. Justice League,
I don't really think. I think the problem is with him as the Flash. I have the same problem with Fisher as Cyborg. You have to keep them in check. I think Schneider did a good job putting them in great spots to keep them in check for the most part, especially Miller.
Well, gave them things to do.
Exactly, that too. He kept them very much in check and on a schedule. When you put them in and try to have them out in Justice League, it's like, okay, try and emote. Well, those actors aren't really good at emoting a certain way. And when they started trying to emote in the way of those characters, it looked very awkward, terrible. And again, when they signed up for a movie that was supposed to be supposed to be much more serious and dour, and of course, a little darker to that edge, and then all of a sudden, okay, we're gonna do this Marvel type movie and have fun with it and all this other, it's not gonna look good. So I will give them a mulligan on that. They had to do a redo, and it's like, oh, now act a totally different way. Again, I don't agree with the way they emoted the characters in the Snyder Cut.
It's just all over the place. It's just all over the place.
It was all over the Justice League was all over the place. They never had a chance to actually get a good script in. And by the way, a lot of people got slandered over that. I didn't like the way people slandered Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman is a damn good composer. I don't blame Danny Elfman at all for that freaking score, because what is he supposed to do? He's supposed to goddamn make a whole script, a whole freaking score within like a few months.
Yeah, I didn't like when people did that as neither, because it's not his fault. He was called in to do a job.
No, the only one that should get shit on in all this, to me, and even then, I hate the man and he deserves to get crapped on. But even then, you have to understand, Joss Whedon doesn't deserve all the blame. The whole idea of this is just absolutely stupid in the first place. You cannot do an entire movie in like 6 months. It's just bullshit. You can't. It's impossible.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot there. So yeah, but yeah, no, I've said it a couple of times this week, and I still stand by it. If you're gonna get rid of Cavill, if you're gonna get rid of Affleck, if you're gonna get rid of Gal, then you know what? You gotta reboot the whole thing. Stop with this nonsense.
Can I just say,
I don't care. I love all my panelists and I love all my friends here at the Poindexter Lounge, but that's just my opinion.
It's not that.
That's not going to change.
For the record, it's not even that. The thing is, you're able to say you can get rid of Cavill because he doesn't have a movie coming up, and you can do the same with Gal if you really wanted to. You can't just get rid of Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller before their movies, because that just completely throws the movies into whack. So
it's weird.
It's unprofessional. Actually, it's very unprofessional.
But let's talk about this though, because Dwayne apparently is admitting defeat following the DC superhero.
He wasn't talking about DC though.
Debacle. Okay, well let's. I don't know. I haven't seen this yet. All I saw was this, and I thought it looked interesting. Former DCU star Dwayne Johnson indirectly responded to reports about his plans for the franchise that failed after Black Adam. Although Black Adam finally hit theaters in October 2022, after years of delays, its release came only weeks before the entire state of the DCU changed from the ground up. But on the top of those changes, under new DC Studios co-CEOs James Gunn and Peter Safran, reports have shared some uncomfortable incidents that happened between The Rock and the former heads at Warner Brothers. Before the changes. Johnson reportedly went to WB's top brass in an effort to greenlight a multi-year plan featuring him and Henry Cavill's Superman. We talked about this last night. All while seemingly demanding more in return for his efforts thus far in building the story. This came on top of his solo Black Adam movie underwhelming both critically and at the box office, making it a challenge to move forward with new stories solely focused on his character. Now, as Warner Brothers prepares for its slate of DC movies in 2023, Johnson has taken to social media to share a cryptic message about his current situation. On his personal Twitter account, actor Dwayne Johnson shared a 90-second video message hinting at what happened with his relationship with Warner Brothers as his time with the DC universe ended. Johnson spoke about the importance of not being afraid to fail, endorsing the idea of having the guts to fail that motivational speaker Inky Johnson has publicly encouraged. The Rock explained how this ties into this whole thing, which seemingly is in reference to recent reports about how Warner Brothers ultimately rejected his plan to lead a new era of DC superheroes with Black Adam close to the forefront. Now, I'm guessing this is just the quote from the video, and they actually have the video here. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to open it up in Twitter. And then we'll just go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't even see the video, to be honest with you. I didn't even know he had one.
I haven't seen it either. So we're gonna go ahead and watch it. Just gonna go ahead and watch it here. Yeah. And then William is here. William, you're welcome to join in anytime you want.
Oh, sure.
Okay, there we go. So, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and watch this and hear from him.
Thought I wanted to share with you guys. There's a good friend of mine named Inky Johnson. You guys should follow him. He's always got great perspective, grounding perspective. He keeps it raw, he keeps it real. He said something that was really profound that I feel ties into this whole thing. And he talked about having the guts to fail. And the reason why I bring that back around to you guys is having the guts to fail compared to having the desire to be famous, having the desire to succeed. And by the way, you should have a desire to win, desire to succeed. There's nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, and that's your truth. But I have found in life that the desire to become famous, the desire to succeed will never be as powerful as having the guts to fail. And I love that because I look back at my own life and around every corner, and still today, look, I'm a fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm 58,000 years old. But I still have that, and that's my lead foot of just having the guts to fail around every corner. And that leads my decisions. That allows me to take big swings, get my ass kicked on some of them, fail at some of them, but then also succeed at some of them. So I will always take guts over desire. Have a great week, and let's get after it. This is our year, 2023. Guts over desire.
Hey, what was so funny?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, because
here's the thing that I've always found is I run into people every day that talk about doing stuff, talk about starting their own business, talk about doing this, talking about doing that, and 99% of them are a bunch of pussies who never do it.
That's not
true.
The point. That's not
true.
The point.
That's true.
Hold on. Wait.
No, it's not, because
I think it is the point.
I think.
Hold on.
He would have accepted failure. He didn't. He didn't accept failure, and he made a whole bunch of goddamn excuses for failure.
You are either a winner or a pussy sitting on the sidelines watching other people try. There are only two people. All right? You're either the person who talks about doing the stuff, or you're at the bottom watching everybody else walk across the tightrope, waiting for them to fall, wondering what you could have done if you ever had the balls to ever do anything.
I'll tell you one thing.
And then there's people who win.
That's what happens.
Then there's
his loss.
The Rock's got $1 billion. I don't. So
yeah, look.
He's great, but he didn't accept the loss. That's it.
We're talking about him while he's counting money.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what I will say.
It doesn't matter though.
Yeah. Well, hold on. This is what I will say.
Stupid point.
No, it's not.
Hey,
it is a stupid point. Again,
I'm gonna mute y'all. I'm talking. Here's the thing. I understand exactly what William is saying because it's absolutely true. There are a lot of people who talk a big talk. I know a lot of people who talk a big talk. They talk about what they're going to do. They talk about how much smarts they have and how they would do things differently and how it would succeed and they would this and that and whatever. And then they never take the swing. They never actually do it. And they sit on the sidelines and they're absolute wusses about it. And their whole claim to fame is they don't have to take responsibility for losses because they've never actually accomplished anything either because they don't try. They talk about how they could do what you do. They don't appreciate what you do because you do what you do, and they talk about how they could do it too. But you know that they can't because they don't have the talent, ability, skills, the know-how, and they haven't put in the time to actually learn how to do what you do, but they have an opinion about what you do. And the thing is William's absolutely right. They sit by on the sidelines and they don't do anything. Now, when it comes to The Rock, the problem that I have with The Rock is The Rock, where to your point, Brodan, The Rock won't actually just come out and say, I failed. He will hint about, hold on. He will hint about the fact that he failed, okay, or this didn't work or that didn't work. But let's be honest. He was just even up to a couple of weeks ago, he was touting how Black Adam was a huge success. It was not. Okay, it was not. Now, does that mean that he has to come out and make a statement about how it failed and all this stuff? No, you don't have to do that. No, and that would not be smart to do because you don't want to.
It's bad business.
Yeah, you don't want to weigh down your brand and what you're doing, but you move on, right? You move on, and I can appreciate that. And I listen. Watching that video, I don't find it funny because I think that he is right in the fact that he does have the guts to take a swing at stuff, man, and to try and to go out there and do something and accomplish something. That being said, also, I think there is a time when your own ego runs away with you and you think that you're more than you are, and it's no longer about you taking risks, calculated risks, or understanding that it's now about you feeding into your own selfishness, your own ego, not caring about what's else around you, not caring about how your decisions affect others. Look, there's a lot of things that I would love to go out and just do. Like even at my age, there's things that I can do. There's things that I have done in my life, but I also understand that I have responsibilities and that my actions affect others. Right? I have a family. I have 3 sons. I have a wife. I got 3 dogs at home. I can't just go run off and just start taking all the risks in the freaking world, right? Based on the fact that I have talents and abilities and skills and all these things. There comes a point where you have to put your ego aside for some things and accomplish what you can accomplish.
Yeah, he was in a viper pit with people whose egos is just as big as he was.
Yeah, and Simon says here with the $5 super chat, 58,000 years old. The Rock is almost as old as William.
But like I said,
failing.
Listen, I have nothing but mostly contempt for people who sit on the sidelines from the safety of their keyboards and take shots. Now, ego-wise, like I said, if he was sitting at the table with a bunch of Boy Scouts who were whose egos weren't destroying the product that they were all working with, fair game. But he was in a viper pit. There were no angels there, like I said, and there were poor decisions made long before The Rock came along. One of them was greenlighting his movie. I mean, he didn't greenlight his own movie. Somebody distributed that. So, like I said, but I have nothing but disdain. If you either take the risk or be the audience. You know what?
He just took it like a man, man. That's all you say. He took it like a man and just admitted that, you know what? It failed. It's just what it is. But
he fought the good fight. I mean, I would rather have somebody fail at trying to get something done than what was happening the last 5 years.
Exactly. Because people fail to realize this too. To be honest with you, if y'all really want to be honest, Dwayne been trying to get Black Adam out for what? Over 10 years now?
11 years, yeah.
11 years.
A decade.
And they weren't even trying to green light it. It took Walter Hamada to go ahead and green light his film. And that's what he did.
And maybe Walter Hamada, I mean, listen, I'm happy to rock out his film, but okay, but where there's no Superman or Batman going on, you're giving me Polka Dot Man and Shazam and Black Adam. That's not, listen, somebody should have said no, but they didn't. That's where we're at. But as far as like I said, it keeps coming back to The Rock, and I'm like, dude, the keyboard is a real safe place to take shots at people.
I mean, I agree, but you also you have to also look at this too. The way that the old regime was constructed and what they was doing, it was all backwards. They had everything
100% with.
Everything was all backwards. You think about it. It's like it's like this the thing. Think about it. Just listen to what I'm saying on how backwards they was. You was afraid because you was getting critically bad reviews, but you were making money. They were making a lot of money. Then when you started to put out the stuff that they were bitching about, yeah, you got the critic reviews, but what happened?
You stopped making money.
Making no money.
Yeah, because the last few DC movies have not made the money.
Exactly. So it was the reverse effect.
Even with a movie like BVS that made over $800 million, I just saw a revised thing for inflation that at this point it would be over $1 billion. But that even being said, at 800 something million, it was still a profitable movie.
Exactly.
And these last few things that we've gotten, it's been questionable whether they've been profitable, if breaking even, and and whatnot. I mean, I've seen the list several times of like when people talk about Zack Snyder and they're like, everybody hates it sucks, everybody hates Zack Snyder supposedly, and all this nonsense. But the thing is like those Snyderverse movies, they were all on an upward trajectory. They were all going up. They were all and we've had the argument, we can make the argument, but I don't buy it about the whole thing of like, oh well, you just put Batman and Superman in a movie together and you got $1 billion. No, you don't. No, that's foolish too.
But you gotta look at this too, Enosh, and this is what I say, and people don't have to agree with me. You can go look at the numbers and go back and do your history. The DCEU, like I said, it died back in 2016, and it wasn't BVS that killed it.
Nope.
People were so anticipated for Suicide Squad. Warner Brothers did that to themselves. When people went out to go watch Suicide Squad, we didn't get David Ayer's movie.
Yeah.
The movie that everybody was anticipated on. We got Studio Squad. And they made the money on that movie, but critically it got destroyed. That's when people started not going back to watch DC films. And because they got something that they anticipated on, that they was waiting on, and when they didn't get it, now they got the result. That was the studio fault. That was the studio fault.
I actually liked Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it was enjoyable, but you have to look at what people were looking for. Because think about it, when that San Diego Comic-Con trailer came out,
that was a good trailer.
Right, that trailer, when that trailer came out, it got so many views. It got people so hyped because everybody was looking for something different, and that's what it was going to give them. It didn't. What we got a music video movie. It was entertaining, but it didn't get it didn't give what the people wanted and what they were anticipating. And that's what killed the DCEU moving forward. Even though Wonder Woman was successful, because her movie was already going to be successful anyway, because it was a Wonder Woman film. But anything after that, and Aquaman too. Wonder Woman and Aquaman is because it was their first film. But everything else,
I'm sorry. I would say the DCU died than Justice League, because everything you just said applies more to Justice League. We were promised it was marketed as a different movie, and then you saw what came out. It was a 2-pack of crap, and that wasn't even enjoyable.
I said the start of it, because people would, let's just say hypothetically, Suicide Squad was good, then it was good. The fans, as fans, we went to go see Justice League, because we thought that we was actually getting Zack's movie, and we didn't. So that's
get Zack's movie to begin with, to be honest. But yeah,
So with that is like, hey, it is what it is. So but we're past that point. But we have pretty much all the films that we got. We just need the one last piece. If Warner Brothers Discovery Home Entertainment, and they decide to go ahead and release the Air Cut, which I believe they're going to do now. They're going to do it this year. They're going to release it. They're going to put it out there. They're going to make whatever profit they're going to make off of it. Now we will have the Snyderverse. I think a lot of people will be happy with that, even though we're not going to get the story to be fulfilled. But I think a lot of people will be happy now we're going to get the Suicide Squad that was intended for us to watch and see. So, and I think a lot of people will be a little bit more, a little bit more happier, not completely happy, but they'll be a little bit more, happier with that. I know I will. But other than that,
my point about The Rock has nothing to do with him swinging and trying. It's just the hypocrisy of it. If you're going to say, come out and take your L, fine. I don't care. But take your L, dude. Don't make excuses. That was my only problem, because it felt like he was trying to act like he was the better person when he made his mistakes. And I'm fine. At least he did try. He did try. But again, it should have never came to that point. That's a failure on this. Would you even call this a studio at this point? A mess. And I think the problem was when you rely on someone who doesn't have any bit of experience in this role, trying to be an executive, producer, actor, director at the same time, this is what happens. But no, my problem at Rock was if you did that conveniently after you made all these excuses. No,
there wasn't his explanation to give. It wasn't his explanation to give. It wasn't his excuse.
He didn't have to say anything. No, he didn't have to say anything.
He shouldn't have. I agree there. He should have.
Yeah, that's all my point. Don't say anything, because at the end of the day, if you didn't say anything, I would actually have felt more bad for you.
The L is the studio. The L
is completely the studio. But I think everyone takes an L, and the biggest L is the studio. They look at the biggest dumbasses. But when Rock spoke, it made him look bad just a bit, and I think you got to take the L on that.
Well, at the end of the day, Dwayne came out. He made a statement, and basically he said, "You know what? He taking it on the chin. He took an L. He's moving forward, and that's all we can
even. It's The Rock, dude. He doesn't have to. It doesn't matter. I think the freaking day. If that man wants to go back and literally give an FU to Vince McMahon right now and make a whole bunch of money off of that, he'll do it. That dude literally walks around printing money. All right, it doesn't matter what he does. I'm just
pretty much. I mean,
a little hypocritical coming out with that type of point.
I would say this though: if he really wants to, really do something great, I don't think that's going to happen. But if he really wants to do something, I think that him and Vin Diesel need to sit down as men, sit down, settle their differences, and let's make this money.
That ain't gonna happen.
I know it ain't gonna happen, but
those two. Well, first of all, Vin Diesel's a goddamn man child. I'm sorry, he's a goddamn man child. The Rock is not interested in talking with a man child about this, and the way that Vin has handled this, trying to act like a family friend, it's absolutely embarrassing. I think Vin should just shut the hell up.
Vin Diesel. I agree with Vin.
Yeah, Vin Diesel needs to just stop.
The Rock was trying.
It ain't gonna happen, dude. That's done.
I know it ain't gonna happen, but I'm just saying. I wish.
I'd like to see a little conclusion to that, but at the end of the day,
right?
You know what? I don't even care about him being in Fast and Furious. I just want Hobbs and Shaw. I just want that.
That too, that'll be cool. But with everybody being all together and knowing that, it'll be because Furious 10 is going to be successful. We all know that. Everybody gonna go see it. It's just crazy on how they're going to end it and bring everybody back, and that's why I say it will make sense. Now, let's say hypothetically, let's just say if they did sit down as men and they settled their differences and let's make the money. I disagree with you. You disagree with me. Because they do that, and sometimes they do that in movies where they don't even film next to each other. And they film it and then they edit it to the point to make it seem like they're together while they're talking. 7. Yeah. So they do it that way. So there's ways to do it for it to go all out. So you never know. I'm not saying it actually happened because them two really don't like each other for real. So, it is what it is. But all I can say is that, Dwayne, he put his statement out there. He said what he had to say and he left it be what it be. So let bygones be bygones. You know what I mean? But a lot of people like Black Adam. A lot of people don't like Black Adam. That's fair. It is what it is.
I think it's all right.
I thought it was fine.
I think it's fine. I don't think it's a great superhero movie.
It's okay.
And I don't think it's a horrible superhero movie.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not bad.
It should have never borne the brunt. It should have never been the one carrying as much weight as it did.
No.
Like I said, Black Adam as it is.
Summer as well.
Yeah, Black Adam as it was, just with the the crappy villain and the blotchy storyline as it was. If you release it with a slate of movies of established characters, Black Adam would have benefited from that carryover and gotten the benefit of the doubt. And the Rock had to come out. Yeah, the Rock has had to come out and say things that, be honest with you, current management and previous management should have been talking to the fans. I shouldn't have been hearing from The Rock as much as I did. I had to hear from The Rock because there was a vacuum created by the ballless predecessors that were in.
And for the record, it was the same way with the Snyder Cut. Zach had to do all the marketing, the talking. That shouldn't happen when you're putting out a movie on your platform. You're not even putting out. You're not even marketing. You're not even putting any money into to actually make this any bit successful. And that is a horrific lack of decision making from this regime. Once again, another failure. They didn't care. It's been this way. Of course, The Rock had to do everything by himself because that's
the former. That was the former regime.
Yeah. Well, that's the former regime.
Yeah,
the current one. Here's the thing. I like what Zaslav has been doing so far. He's made one blemish that I think, if things don't work out, and that's a long shot. If things don't work out, it could be fatal. And that is properly delegating things immediately when it comes to what Gunn is going to do and what was already established and how to wrap that up. Depending on what James Gunn puts out, because he could put out something tomorrow that blows me away, and he is putting all this together. But let's say, hypothetically, if he's just going forward with his thing, and he just has been given a baton right here and then, I think that could be a fatal mistake in not resolving what's already there and putting all that weight on James Gunn, and it basically puts him behind the 8 ball immediately, critically and narratively. So I think Zaslav should have delegated what was established and what was current and what is going forward. And if he hasn't done that, or if that doesn't come together, that could be a mistake that comes back to haunt him. So
we'll see. Because you got to remember, there's 2 departments. I believe that DC Studios are going to have this uphill. I think DC Studios and Gunn and how they're going to orchestrate it, I think it's going to be successful. It's going to be a climb, but it's going to be successful. Warner Brothers are going to be fine. Warner Brothers Pictures, Home Entertainment, that's going to be fine by themselves because Warner Brothers, they're going to just put out some films with New Line Cinema and themselves. They're just going to put out nice, good films and put it out there. They're going to put out.
Yeah,
they're going to
gonna make money.
Yeah, Dune, all that. They're going to bring out films that's going to be good. They're going to make their money. And again, that's the thing that people are not understanding. David Zaslav is all he doing is that's the reason why he's axing everything is to stop the bleeding of money. Why are we having all this stuff and we're not generating any money? We're not generating anything. So he has to get rid of things that are just not making them money, or where they have to still give I can't even the residuals to the right. That's why a lot of those shows on HBO Max is getting cut. HBO Max is about to merge with Discovery sometime this year. I think it's March.
It's gone this year. It's gone this year.
Well, speaking of, that's a great transition to our next topic, because that's what came out today. Is that there's some changes coming, and maybe some of that hemorrhaging is about ready to stop. Warner Brothers Discovery CFO says restructuring and content write-off frenzy is over in 2023. We're done with that chapter. And this is what a lot of us tried to tell people over the last couple of months, is, hey, look, there's some, they have to stop the bleeding. I've said it, Williams said it, Prime has said it, other people have said it. They got to stop the bleeding at some point. You can't just have a company like Warner Brothers that gets, sold out from underneath of itself over and over and over again, and think that you can just, come in and keep everything the status quo because you like this, that's going to stay, or because these people like this, that's going to stay, or, hey, the Batgirl movie needs a lot more money put into it, so let's just keep throwing money at it and maybe we can get it cinematic, or like, the story doesn't make any sense with what we're doing going forward. So, you know what? The fans deserve to see it. Like, listen, guys, like, I understand. I do get it because I am a fan as well. I am a fan. But we don't necessarily have a right to see things. You can campaign for it. Look, with the Snyder Cut, did we have a right to see the Snyder Cut?
No,
we didn't.
We didn't have a right. And
we had a strong desire to see the Snyder Cut, right? Yep. We were upset because we were told that it didn't exist when the guy who made it said it does exist, and I got it on my computer. Right. And people will be like, well, it didn't exist, Enosh, because he had to put $70 million more. But look, the thing was there, though. OK, yes, it wasn't completed. OK, it wasn't.
But it was
finished.
Filmed.
But it was filmed. It was put together. It was there. It was a thing. And it needed to be finished. OK, so we knew that this thing existed. We knew that this thing could happen. And yes, we even campaigned for it. There's a difference between campaigning for something and demanding that because I am a consumer, because I am a fan, you better give me what I want to see. Or I like this TV show. How dare you take it off of your streaming service? I've said it. I said it time and time again. You cannot expect streaming services to stream every IP, every episode of everything that you like, that you've ever liked, every movie, every documentary, every TV show, cartoon, short, whatever, in perpetuity forever, just to give it a place. So if two people want to watch it, they can watch it. We have Crazy Joe on a lot, and I love Crazy Joe, right? And Crazy Joe and Crazy Joe. And I relate it to his love for Sesame Street. I love Sesame Street. I am literally still nostalgic for things like Sesame Street and the Electric Company and old episodes of stuff like that. And there's been occasion like where an old song will pop in my head because I watched a lot of Sesame Street when I was a kid. And something will pop into my head, and I'll go onto YouTube and I'll look it up or whatever. And there's been some things that I've had to search for it for a long, long time before I finally found it.
Yep.
But here's the thing. When they got rid of many episodes of old Sesame Street stuff from the early to mid 70s.
Okay?
Yes. Like 200.
Now here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. I tried to tell Joe, I know you love it. How often are you really going on there and watching old episodes of Sesame Street?
Sesame Street. Thank you. You put it. Thank you.
I might get this little itch every once in a while where I go, oh man, remember when Kermit the Frog would come out and he would come out in the news reporter outfit and he would do the interviews, man, and that'd be funny. I remember that as a kid. That was awesome, man. Or like they had the rock and roll band and they would just make up a song about something, you know, and they'd go all crazy, man. It's like, cause you're alive. Oh, you're alive. I was teaching some kids, man, in the class the other day and we were talking about the difference between being alive and not alive. And I was thinking about that song from Sesame Street, man. I was like, yo, that'd be awesome to show them that, right? And so I get it. I totally understand it. But, and every once in a while, if you were a kid of the 70s and you remembered Mr. Hooper, most kids don't even know why Hooper's store is called Hooper's Store on Sesame Street.
Oh my God.
But there's those of us who grew up with Mr. Hooper before he passed away. And you may want to go back and watch one of those episodes or that moment that like we found out that Mr. Hooper had passed on Sesame Street. But I'm sorry, I am not going every day to HBO Max or anywhere else there for that matter.
Or
and
YouTube.
I don't believe for a second. And listen, if you're a grown man and you're watching Sesame Street every day and ingesting like old episodes by the hours,
Joe,
more power to you.
More power to you. Be a fan. I'll be a fan of whatever you're a fan of, man. I'm not going to put your
Wellness
fandom down.
check.
Okay? I'm not going to put your fandom down. All I'm going to say is that is not what the majority of people are doing, and a company is not neglecting you by saying we're not going to keep all of this stuff up for a couple of people. Literally, you can't even tell me hundreds of people are looking every day for that content. Okay?
I guarantee you they're not.
No, I guarantee you they're not. So the thing is that you can't tell me, because I know people who aren't looking for it is kids.
Nope.
There are no modern day kids going, I wonder what Sesame Street was like in the 70s. And if they do, they're like, oh, well, that was slow and boring. I'm going to go back to watching Elmo and the fast-paced, like, mind-numbing stuff of today. Okay? So, no.
And the one that got people the most, and I'm glad you bringing this up and just building the button. This is what I tell people is this. They're taking Looney Tunes off.
Yes.
And what's that? And I tell people this. Don't get upset. Go to the store. Get all the seasons on physical copy. That'll nip it in the bud right there. Then you can watch whatever the hell you want.
It's
you say
free
what?
on YouTube too. It's free on YouTube.
And I get it. I get it because there's those of us who grew up with Looney Tunes, but I'm sorry, there's a lot of kids. They keep trying to bring back Looney Tunes and Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and all that stuff, but I'm sorry.
They're not into it.
Those characters are just not the pinnacle of what they were even when I was a kid, even in the 90s or the early 2000s. It is waned. It's just not there. So no, the company HBO Max should not be responsible for paying for server space and for the what it costs to do business to keep all that stuff on there and readily available for the couple of people who want to watch it and watch a couple minutes of it and turn it off.
The problem with a show like Looney Tunes is, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say this, that was back in a time period that was pretty risky and racist. When those characters were kind of at their full capacity, they were doing questionable things that isn't acceptable in today's media. Personally, I like watching it anyway because I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't actually put that to kids. You can't have Tom and Jerry doing half the absolutely horrible, heinous things they were doing back in the day.
They were doing blackface. They were, they had
shooting each other. The black maid. I mean,
mammies, and I mean, my God, there's stuff that you just go, whoa.
But that stuff funny. But that stuff funny to us, and that's the thing. It's funny to us, and it could be funny to certain other individuals as well. But at the same time,
but the people who aren't going to find it funny will get that show. Will have lawsuits ready.
Warner Brothers should have. This is like a 25, 30-year-old decision that's finally getting made. They really need to license out all their animation to venues and places and companies that it is suitable for. If animation is not the core identity of what you do, you shouldn't be having it. And this discussion goes all the way back to the early 90s.
I agree. I agree. Because they're going to make money anyway.
Yeah, animation doesn't make money for studios like that unless you are a studio with animation as your core identity. Right. And they've always produced this stuff. And like I said, starting with 1990, they should have been selling it off and licensing it to other venues. But they kept it because it was legacy. Do that. Yeah, they should. No, they're going to start doing it. If you notice, they're going to start doing it. Yeah, it's a smart business thing.
They got a deal with Amazon now that they could do animation.
They're
with
going to have
DC
deals with
stuff,
Amazon.
so, yeah.
They'll end up having
Right.
deals with Netflix eventually once they figure out the pay scale
Oh,
there.
Or Disney even.
And that's another thing. Good thing you brought that up, Will. And people fail to realize too, Netflix is doing the same thing that Warner Brothers is doing. They're getting rid of a lot of stuff off their platform because they're cutting back on money. They're not going to keep on hemorrhaging money. Netflix is losing more money than you think. Yeah, they got a lot of people, but they losing money too. So
12 billion
you
in
gotta,
debt. 12 billion in debt.
yeah, they in a lot of debt. So they're putting out projects where they can see where they make money. And I will not be surprised with all the movies that they are greenlighting. Okay. I will not be surprised. I'm just throwing something out there because this is what they need to do. I will not be surprised, like all the big budget movies, they need to put those movies and let those movies out there for a month so they can make a profit. I understand they don't want to give, they don't want to get the theaters a percentage and all that stuff like that, but for them to get some money, yeah, they're going to have to put that stuff out there. Like that movie, like The Glass Onion, the mystery movie, that's a great movie, but they took it out of theaters so quick. People could have went and watched that in theater. They could have made a profit.
There's a reason why they do that. This is why. That's a good point, but there's a stated reason why networks does not like putting things on the big screen is because that is not what they're selling. The more stuff that they put on, they want you coming to their streaming service. They want you to spend your entire life on their streaming service. They don't want you in the cinemas because that revenue that they make, the cinema for a cinephile is great, but for Netflix, it's not their business
they lose
model.
Percentages on the theaters, so they want it all on the streaming service and have all their money.
Ryan Johnson,
I agree.
Ryan Johnson
Rational Skeptic here with a $5 super chat says, William Enosh, why did Warner Brothers allow multiple live-action DC universe to exist simultaneously? Arrowverse, DC.
That's an easy question to ask.
The Batman.
That's easy.
Can I answer that real quick?
Go ahead, Will. Go ahead. Break it in the butt. Because I already know what he will go say, but go ahead, Will. Knock him out.
Well, the reason why the nature of DC, by the time all these are done, is that you have so many windows that you can look at the same house through. And whereas the Batman was a great movie, the Batman made $70 million. There's a lot of the audience that the Batman was not for. So they have always been in the business, and even in comics, to catering and making as much money as they can by presenting that character to as many demos as possible while still keeping the identity. Now, it's a tightrope. It is a fine line. They don't always do it right, but that's why you have so many different interpretations. People who watch Titans more than likely are not watching the CW. People who watch CW and vice versa. But if you're in business to make money, you want all the money. You don't want to leave anything on the table. Now they've waned from that, in the last couple of years sometimes, and they've done it out of excuses. Like, the Batman we were supposed to get was only there because the Batman we were supposed to get didn't happen. Ben Affleck, but their original game plan was the fact that I have 3 to 4 generations of audience that are still living and breathing with watching these characters. Why don't I make revenue out of all of them? And that's what they were trying to do, and they've been trying to do that since day one.
Yep. And on top of that, for the ones that watched the CW, when you first started it, they had a vision going forward. It got a little bit ridiculous towards the end, at the tail end of what they was doing.
Because they lost the budget.
There you go. And on top of that, people fail to realize too, because I get this all, why are they canceling all the CW shows? Because they're not making a dime off the CW. For every dollar that they was putting out, they were losing double.
They used to, but no more.
Right. So there's no point of putting stuff out when you're losing money. It was just hemorrhaging money. You just had a wound that just kept on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You got to stop it. You got to stop the bleeding. And that's what they did. And trust me, the CW had a lot of great shows. They did. But they started going into a direction, and what they started to do with the shows, it just wasn't suitable for a certain audience. And people just stopped doing it. For example, when the only reason why a perfect example, Supergirl wasn't on the CW when it started. It was on CBS.
Yep.
They started the first season on CBS. The reason why they stopped it, because even though the first 2 episodes had a lot of views, the views started to go down. And the budget that Supergirl had was too big.
Too
So
expensive, yeah.
that's what it was too expensive. So now, because I think Supergirl, if I'm not mistaken, if y'all go back and y'all watch the first season of Supergirl, you will see a total different visual. And then after it came to the CW, when you look at the stuff on it, I think the budget for Supergirl was like $5 million an episode because of the special effects that they had.
Yeah.
Right, it was a lot. The budget was huge. Once it got to the CW, everybody knows that the CW shows, they don't spend no more. They spend under $1 million per episode. Probably not even that. So they had a budget. So you got to look at it like that. And Supergirl lasted for all those seasons because of that budget, and people watched it. So, and for whatever it's worth that they did with it, they did a decent job until they started doing crappy writing with it. But that's another story for another day. So other than that, you have to look at it. It's the same thing with Arrow. Arrow was good. It was up and down. You know, Black Lightning was good for the first season. Then it went downhill. They had to cancel
Black
that.
Lightning was on Fox.
No, Black Lightning was on
CW. Black Lightning was on CW.
Was it?
Yeah, Black Lightning was on CW.
It was at the end. It was actually grandfathered into the entire continuity.
Yep.
Because for the longest time, it wasn't part of the continuity of all of the CW shows. But at the end, they ended up bringing it in with Crisis on Infinite Earths.
It's cool. So you got to look at it like that on how they outsource all their properties and what Warner Brothers was doing. Now with all this stuff that's going on now, everything that is a DC product is going to go through DC Studios. They ain't gonna have no problems now. It's going through one studio only, and they can oversee all the characters moving forward. I know, Dinosh. I know you want to get to something.
No, you're good. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. So let's get to this. So they're done with the chapter of doing the write-offs. Warner Brothers Discovery is entering a new era in 2023 with this 12-month period set on relaunching and rebuilding, which is exactly what I said. For everybody who was saying the sky is falling and they're destroying everything that we love, and I said, hey, they got to get to a point where they are going to be healthy, where then they can go ahead and go back to creating and putting money into projects because they will have money. Budgets. They don't have money to do it right now. Compared to 2022's restructuring focus on layoffs and content write-offs following the April acquisition of Warner Media, according to CFO Gunnar Wiedenfels. Now, look, he says, we took a little bit of time to make sure that we do it properly. For some of the titles, we found new homes elsewhere. That's what William's been talking about. That's why this took 6 or 7 months. But I think we've come to great solutions. And most importantly, we're done with that chapter. Wiedenfels said while speaking at Citi's 2023 Communications, Media, and Entertainment Conference on Thursday. That was very important to all of us, to really use 2022 to leave the purchase accounting behind us. Leave those initial strategy changes behind us. Get it all out there in terms of our restructuring estimates, and then be able to turn the page forward. I think the team has laid a great foundation, and I'm really excited about the growth from here. Through WBD's 2022 cuts, though WBD's 22 cuts were significant, including the much criticized decision to scrap HBO Max's completed Batgirl film, as the David Zaslav-led company looks to fulfill its $3.5 billion target in post-merger cost savings over 3 years. Wiedenfels says that they are, in part, a reflection of an industry that went overboard in content spending. Or in content overspend throughout a streaming crazed Hollywood. We're coming from an irrational time of overspending with limited focus on return on investment. Wiedenfels said.
Keyword irrational. Keyword irrational.
And you know what? This is hearkening back to me early 2021, where everybody was yelling at me, telling me that I didn't know what I was talking about, and I didn't know the future of the business, and that nobody was ever going to go to the movies again, and streaming was just going to be the way that it was, and whatever. And I was like, well, you gotta have a way to make money. But okay. On December 14th. Warner Brothers Discovery updated its estimate on restructuring charges related to Discovery's acquisition of Warner Media and said content impairment and development write-off charges could be up to $3.5 billion, $1 billion more than it previously pegged. WBD said it revised certain estimates related to its restructuring and transformation initiatives that it previously disclosed in October. The company expects to incur total pre-tax restructuring charges of $4.1 billion to $5.3 billion, up from $3.2 billion to $4.3 billion previously. The new estimate includes $2.8 billion to $3.5 billion of content impairment and development write-offs. In that December SEC filing, Warner Brothers Discovery said it is not revising the previously disclosed estimates for organization restructuring costs, facility consolidation activities, or other contract termination costs or cash expenditures. That said, the company noted that restructuring efforts are ongoing and could result in additional impairments above the revised estimates, and that restructuring initiatives are still expected to be substantially completed by the end of 2024. From my perspective, we really have command and control over the business now, Weidenfels told Citi's Jason Bazinet on Thursday. There were some surprises in the first months of the combination, as you know, but we put out the guidance for this year at the end of the summer, and I've been very, very pleased with all of our operating trends over the second half of the year. We're really on track for a lot of asset value creation and free cash flow generation. One of the upcoming bright spots is Warner Brothers Discovery's year of relaunching and rebuilding is the combined HBO Max Discovery Plus product this spring.
Weidenfels said cooking shows.
Yeah, Weidenfels said that the company has been putting a great emphasis on raising the bar of that offering, which has yet to be named or given a debut date compared to the solo HBO Max and Discovery Plus, in order to reduce churn as much as possible when the unified platform launches. We're going to come out with a great product from a consumer experience perspective, and that's frankly the biggest holdback for HBO Max right now. The experience is not where it needs to be, Weidenfels said. And I, as somebody who loves HBO Max, loves a lot of the content on HBO Max, I absolutely agree with that. The problem is that there are things on HBO Max that I love. I'll go watch it all, and then there's nothing else for me to come back to HBO Max for God knows how long, until something else pops up on HBO Max, and then all of a sudden, I guess I'll go back and watch it.
It's actually so it's so true. The only reason I have HBO Max is Doom Patrol and South Park. What else is there to watch? I despise Titans, and I don't care what anyone says here. I hate that damn show.
Well, I love it.
I love it.
I will piss on that show. I don't care. But other than that, there's nothing else to watch for me.
There's a lot of great stuff on HBO Max, man. There's so much stuff on HBO Max, man. It's ridiculous. You know,
there's a lot of stuff, but it's not always stuff that like when you're sitting around and you go, I just want to watch something. There's not a lot of new things, and the presentation is not very great either. Like, to be able to access everything is not always easy to do.
The navigation.
You always have to go to the new stuff. Like, when there's new stuff, you have to click the new section. It's like, oh my God, that's a lot of work, man. Like,
one of the main problems with HBO Max is that there's other options to access HBO's content all the time. I know they combine the numbers and everything, but if you're going to truly maximize your catalog,
you need more exclusives.
Yeah, I can't have the option to just sit at home on just my standard cable and watch everything that's in that catalog. There's got to be more Max exclusives, and that's where I hope that thit coming. And what also needs to happen is, like, let's take an IP like Game of Thrones. Now, when Game of Thrones, the original Game of Thrones ended, they lost 53% of their male demographic. And it was 3 years before we got anything approaching what Game of Thrones was. And we got it in Game of Thrones House of the Dragon. Okay, now we got another 2 years. So the game plan going forward, and the same thing that Disney had to learn with Star Wars and some of the stuff that they were doing, is they got to close those gaps. If you want to keep me engaged and even have the chance that I might forget to not, to turn off my rebuild or whatever, you have to have a bridge from one thing to another. So when I left House of the Dragon, I shouldn't have to wait 2 years for content of that level to be on the streaming service.
Well,
so
I hope to wait to 2024.
Yeah, but that's a lot. There's a lot that happens.
It's only 1 year away.
No, but the show ended in 2022, and there's a lot of other. You're
competing. Can happen in a year, man.
Yeah, and you're competing alongside other streaming services that are closing up those gaps that have learned that lesson. So I hope that's part of their restructuring plan. Is the fact that if you want to keep me engaged, first of all, don't put everything on HBO. And then when you do have something that's a gold mine, make sure you keep that gold flowing. You know, I should have. If Game of Thrones is going to get 30 million views this Sunday, then I should have 3 or 4 things that run alongside. So when one ends, the other begins. Paramount's another one that's figured this out. When one Star Trek
Paramount,
another Star Trek show for the most part begins. You have very little gap, and it covers all demographics. So that's where HBO Max needs to be. Their launch was horrible, by the way. One of the other things that the previous management
in 2020,
their launch was horrible. Horrible. HBO Go, HBO Max, HBO Proper. That all should have been consolidated from day one. And this new name
that should have been one.
Yeah, this new streaming service that they create, it would be a crime if they removed the letters HBO from it. HBO is a legendary name. When you hear that opening, that little and you know something, you're about to get hit with something really, really
all
good.
The shows historically on HBO alone are ridiculous.
Yeah, you keep that brand name. Discovery, I love Discovery. I have it. But when I think, you know, Sunday night at 9:00, I'm watching for the last 20 years, The Wire, The Sopranos,
True Detective.
True Detective, 6 Feet Under. They've built such a legacy of expectations with that HBO. Discovery, Pimple Popper, and I'm not knocking it, but there's a different level of gravitas when you have.
I keep it like this, man. If it has the word investigation, that's the only thing I care about when it comes to Discovery. That's it.
Or Homicide.
But you have to remember too, they're combining them, and they combine.
I'm gonna watch Pimple Popper all day long, guys.
Homicidal Pimple Popper. Let's do it.
Homicidal Pimple Popper investigation. I'm
the content will be immersed, and it's going to, how should I say, it's going to cater to every demographic. So that's why I say once they get everything together with that, then, you know, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's either going to be about March. It's going to be by the spring where they're going to have it, where they're going to kick it off. Right.
Just call it HBO Discovery. That's it.
I was going to say that HBO Discovery.
I think, HBO Discovery. If they do it like that, that'd be cool.
Simple.
Yeah. You know, it'll be cool like that. Like Will was saying, Paramount Plus got a lot of great stuff on it. I mean, wow. Paramount Plus, they doing it big. And for the price that they give, I mean, I got into Yellowstone off the hook. Now I watched 1883, and then I'm about to watch 1923. You know, I'm watching the show with Sylvester Stallone in it. That series, that shit off the hook.
Tulsa King.
Yeah, Tulsa.
That's amazing. It's an amazing show.
Yeah, so I mean, they have great stuff on Paramount Plus,
and they keep it coming. You got to keep it coming.
Yeah, and they're keeping it coming, and that's the thing. And you have to look at it. The competition is just going to be there, but at the same time, they're starting to learn that, you know, we just can't just put a whole bunch of stuff up on the platform where we're just going to be hemorrhaging money. We want to have something that's going to be good. You know, keep it solid, and then people will stay. They will stay. Amazon and figured out what they need to do. So I mean, you know, it is what it is. Outside of that
problem
ring,
also with DC
power
is you keep trying to rely on a home run hit you could build off of. They did the same thing with the Schneider cut. You thought, oh, that was gonna like launch your whole thing, and you put your eggs into one basket. They keep trying to go off these one hitters. You need to get a consistent source of streaming and actual multiple shows that people are going to be interested in. You can't have one here, one there. Nah, not when Disney's throwing out Star Wars shows that we're going to be up here. Not when you have multiple shows coming in and out.
They had a chance with the Snyder Cut to they should have broken it up into a long form series. And
no, it should have been
they couldn't do that. Well, they couldn't.
They couldn't do it. I wish they could, but they couldn't.
They could have renegotiated some things if they wanted to. They would have had to spend a little bit of money. But here's something else they should have done once the Snyder Cut was done. They should have had a game plan for what followed it up. You could have had when the Snyder Cut came out in March of 2021. We're here in 2023. We could have had some content related to that could have been spread over 3 years, and winding this thing up. Because remember, nobody remembers that whatever was that started wasn't going to be forever anyway. I mean, you could really have done this up. And another thing that they're missing out on, physical media. You want I present this idea, David Zazoff, if you're watching the Poindexter Lounge. Listen, re-release all the stuff that he did. And in each of those volumes, you put a piece of the storyline that's been dangling for the last 5 years as extras that you can't get on HBO Max yet, that you can't get on HBO proper. They're only in this physical media. First of all, I know the numbers of the physical media. They sell. BBS sells no matter every time it's out. It
Yep.
sells. So if you give me a box with the mother boxes, or you give me one with a Superman S or something like that. You give me all different physical, pretty little forms that collectors, steel books like that. And in each of those, you put a little bit of the story. So guess what? You're going to do Wonder Woman in a steel book. Give me the piece of that storyline where she's fighting Darkseid. You're going to do Aquaman again. Give me the piece of that storyline where that's money right there. And then you wrap it up with the big box set. That's the mother box, steel box, right? You have them all in there. People will buy that. Not only are you making hard cash and profit, but you're wrapping up something and you're putting it. And then a year from now, then you put it on HBO Max. But you put it on physical media first. But that's just money.
But that's the thing. You know, they're into this streaming thing where they want to cut out the middleman for, distribution, putting it up on disc to get it made. See, that's the problem. They don't that's the thing. I've always said that, you rely on streaming too much. You're going to make people mad in a lot of ways. Me personally, it's convenient, yes. But when you look at it, just think about it. You got your library of shows. I'm just giving y'all an example. You got your library of shows and it's on streaming. What if they take those shows off? You can't access them no more. They're gone. So that's why I say physical media is always going to win over streaming.
Unless you pirate.
You say what?
I say unless you pirate.
You can pirate it, but like I said, if you're into collecting, dude, I remember when Battlestar Galactica came out with the Cylon casing. You couldn't. It was flying off. Even people who weren't watching Ronald B. Moore's show, they were buying that. Yeah, we're buying that because it's collectible. And like I said, you bring value to your streaming service if in 6 months you start adding these tidbits in. But like I said, you wrap up your story there and you're selling stuff so that the people who you say, well, I don't want to do this because I don't want to take this risk. The turnover for making DVDs and Blu-rays is not that expensive when you have the leverage of that kind of company. The profit margin is high. That's why they continue to make them. That's why I didn't get a glow-in-the-dark Zack Snyder's Justice League. I didn't get the glow-in-the-dark BBS because when I went to Walmart, the day after they were released, by the way, they put them out on Tuesday. I went to Walmart. Across the street, they were gone.
I wish you would have told me, dude.
You think that's bad? You think that's bad? I had access to every one of those goddamn movies on Steelbook. B versus S, Justice League, Wonder Woman, Man of Steel, and I never took advantage of it. I mean, I finally have recouped some of them, but I'm still missing Justice League. I'm still missing goddamn Aquaman, which now is expensive to go get. On a really good one. So it's bullshit. I could have had both John Wicks. They started discontinuing Steelbooks like at certain stores. Best Buy still has the hookup, but yeah, I understand how it is. You get screwed off of that. Those are collectibles you get screwed off of.
You put them out there. 15 minutes per one. So Aquaman has its 15 minutes. And then when you buy the last one, the big one, it has a whole thing. And I don't need 20 movies to finish the storyline. All I'm saying is you're leaving money on the table. And then you solve so many things. So now nobody can say you didn't resolve anything because it's resolved. You can't say that, these people
didn't want them to give me a nice Snyder Cut book, all right? I mean, I hate to, I hate to say it, guys, but the Steelbook for Justice League looks better than the Snyder Cut one, and that pisses me off. That's unacceptable. We need to start
re-release it and take that money, man.
Damn right, re-release it and give me some better artwork.
For the people that's in the chat saying was a Snyder Cut successful, it was way more than a success. It's just that you just gotta watch it. You can still watch it on HBO Max, but good luck on trying to find it on disc. Because you ain't gonna really get it though.
Yeah, you will.
They really need to release the numbers. By the way,
actually, the scary thing is you could buy. I can go get it right now if I wanted to.
Yeah, I think it's just depending upon where you're located. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty sure I can go to Walmart right now and pick it up.
Bam.
Yeah. Those glow in the dark ones that William was talking about, those were here for forever. In fact, I mean, I think that they're actually there's still some on the rack. Yeah.
Tell you what, I might have to talk because I couldn't get it. And my buddy in LA at the Walmart there, he couldn't get them. I'm like, what? I mean, and I'd like, what? Why?
Yeah, I'll look next time, man.
No joke.
I was pissed because I wanted it because I saw it. I'm like, that's cool. And I thought I had time because nobody watched the Snyder Cut.
William, I'm telling you, man, the same thing I seen with those Steelbooks, man. Guys, if you, dude, honestly, Enoch would have probably bought all of them right there. They're all right there. B versus S, all of them like lined in a row right there. and I literally only took Man of Steel. Never took the other ones.
Sell. I'm going to give you a movie can bomb in the box office, and that physical media can sell it. Blade Runner, 2049 bombed in the box office. One of the greatest movies ever made. Screw you guys for not seeing it out there, but anyway. But it went on physical media, right? It went on physical media, and like within the first week made 22 million bucks. So, and that's just on the first week. And then people, then you get nominated for Academy Award, all that stuff. And then they re-release them and put nominated for Academy Award. And then if you win, guess what goes on the top of the next release 6 weeks later? Winner Academy Award. I mean, if you think Top Gun Mavericks is not going to sell like hotcakes if that movie wins for best movie?
Oh, by the way, if selling hotcakes, dude, my freaking Chris already bought the Steelbooks. Well, mine's supposed to be coming. Already $100. Yeah. I saw it at Best Buy, and I literally had to stop myself from spending $100 on getting this.
We gave away 20 on the show. In fact, there are some viewers in here that got.
And another missed opportunity. There was the first Top Gun Steelbook. I never pulled the trigger on, and now it's gone because Target discontinued their Steelbooks. So it's this is the type of shit you gotta be aware of. But man, I mean, I'm lucky I got all 3 Indiana Jones up there because gotta get what you can.
Yeah, get with Cavill, get with all these people, and say, listen. We're gonna pay you this amount of money, but we're gonna put this in this volume. People will buy it. I would buy it before it was even done. All you got to do is tell me that it's coming out. I'm not gonna miss out on that.
We'll pre-order. Let's get pre-orders on, man. Let's go because I would like to get sets.
Yeah, no back end deals. No back end deals. Just do it.
I hope they release a box of the whole entire DCU.
Box set.
That's what I'm talking about.
A nice box set of basically Man of Steel through Zack Snyder's Justice League. Call it. Even put Suicide Squad in there if you want.
Well, all of it. Put it in a box. But each one, say you don't want to buy the whole box right now. So say, for instance, it's Superman, right? So I get like a big one of that remember that crystal that he used that he uses to punch in and activate everything? So I'm thinking a big giant thing like that with the Blu-ray in it and all the extras in it. Aquaman, it's his little A, or you give me the little the four. Yeah. Wonder Woman.
The Trident, right.
Yeah, you give me one that's
no joke.
I mean,
no, William's right because guys, I was at Walmart today, literally, like 2 hours ago. Do you want to know what I saw? I almost pulled the trigger on it. That's how stupid I am. I almost pulled this trigger. I literally had to stop myself saying, "No, you dumbass, don't buy this." But there is Black Adam in the Blu-ray with everything. There is a Funko Pop. It's a box set.
Yeah,
and
I saw that. That is cool.
Pulled the trigger. I was like, if I pull this trigger, I'm going to punch my own self in the face for doing it. But God.
And I saw somebody buying one of those too because I ordered some. Somebody bought in like the Flash. You have like a nice little steelbook with the little colors on it, and it's his old uniform. And then you flip it over, it's his new one. And you do it once the Flash and all these movies are done. But like I said, 15 minutes on each of those volumes is resolving the current DCU. When I buy that last big box, the DCEU is over, and we begin going on with this other thing.
Exactly.
Nice just make the money. It's money. It's money.
Just make the damn money. It's money. Like it's collections too. It's good for us because we get to collect this crap. So do it.
And then once it sells out, guess what you get to do? You get to release it again.
Yeah, that's what they do. Then William can start robbing your stores.
Yeah, I don't have to steal from just one or two people. There's a whole bunch of people that don't have them.
I own every DC TV show steelbook out there, like and Blu-rays and stuff like that. And it's great. I even own the Smallville box
steelbook out there. I'm gonna rob that person. They're gonna get jumped. I'm sorry, but that's mine.
Yeah, I hope that and their new schematic, their new way of making money, I hope that they are looking at things like this, and they really need to go down to the paper medium too, because right now the problem that the DC has had for the last 10 years is they don't feed into one demographic to the other. I get people that come in all the time. They think they know everything about Iron Man, but what they know is Robert Downey Jr. They don't know Iron Man. Which is my pleasure to get them, an omnibus or something in their hand. But DC should be doing that.
You know what I'm going to say?
Marvel should be doing it.
I've always had this. I've always had this crackpot idea what they should do. Why don't they? I wish they put like a bit of comic strips in the DVDs. No joke. Put a comic strip, like a comic book in the DVD or in the Blu-ray box.
They make it with toys. They do that with toys.
They do
it with toys. Yeah, I would like them to do it with the movies, so at least it's the options there. Or give you a link to the actual comic books that this might be based on. Do something like that and give you a free code in. But that's what I would say.
Yeah, the digital Aquaman. Okay, so Aquaman. So I got a couple releases for Aquaman right now. I got the release that he wore in BBS, have that armor as the skin of the Blu-ray, and then the green and the yellow one. And then when the third one comes, dude, you could just the collectors are beasts. They buy that stuff. Even if they already have a version of it, they don't have that version on it.
Exactly. It's an addiction.
Keep recycling your money. So I hope they look into all this. But like I said, the comic division really needs to listen, you don't necessarily need to read a comic to understand the movies, but you keep them in your house. If you've introduced these people into your IPs from a movie or a TV show, then why not introduce them into everything that you have and take the chance
so they can be wrapped in it and get more money out of it
and bring their kids up in it? Because guess what? If you bring me in via the Flash, and then there's other things out there. Read the Flash comic. There's Flash trade paperback. There's all kinds of stuff.
There's another idea I also had. They need to also have more superhero shoes, and that may sound corny. It may, but if you were
they need to have them in size 15.
Yes, that too. But no joke. Jesus, bro. But no joke.
I'm 14.
No joke. If they were to say we're going to release the Air Jordan Miles Morales tomorrow, I want your guys' answers. How many hours would it sell out?
In 2 seconds.
Oh,
in 2 seconds.
Yeah. In like 2 hours, probably. Imagine if they were trying to sell like Air Force One Supermans or Air Force One Batmans. Oh God, I shouldn't say that. You're gonna have murders on the street. Or Air Force One's Wonder Woman's, also murders on the street. You will have a whole shitload of sales. All right, because anything like that's a collectible and it's fresh gear, but it's also a collectible.
Yeah, and then you start releasing limited number editions.
Tiffany bought me Tiffany bought me a pair of Superman shoes just recently, and I got them in, and I'm looking at them. I've worn them once. Because I wore them, but she kept saying, like, are you gonna wear them? You're gonna wear them? You're gonna wear them? And I was like,
I'll put them in a glass case.
Part of me doesn't want. Part of me wants to kind of keep them as a
glass case,
as a collectible, but in the other space of it, like, I really enjoyed wearing them the day that I wore them.
Yeah,
and so,
I look at it like this too. It depends on if they were Air Jordans, like really Jordan. I would have shot you before you ever wore them.
Wow, damn.
I would have shot you before you wore them. I'm like, no, you're not wearing those because those need to be put in a glass case. Yeah, because those the price would just go up and up and up because they wouldn't re-release them because the way Nike does their sales.
Well, they have Pumas. I believe they have like Adidas.
I don't know what deal they have, but I think they really need to go to Nike. I think Adidas could sell too, but something about Nike and Jordan. If you put special edition Jordans, that is so much buku sales. Yeah. That you're going to literally have people like just rushing stores.
By the way, it's not just Snyder fans I will be making these box sets for. It's for these people that are going to be going to see your new Superman, seeing your new Batman, seeing your new Wonder Woman. If you do this right, you are leading them right into all of this. You are leading them right into all of this, and you're selling to them too. I just hope that they're thinking. They got.
You shouldn't say Joker kicks, man. You were asking for Bedlam. Oh God.
Which Joker too? I mean, Heath Ledger.
Oh, if just anything Joker, any Joker you put on a pair of Jordans, you are asking for Bedlam. You're asking for blood.
Dark Side, man.
I want Dark Side.
Oh no, dude! You imagine the Omega symbol right next to the Jordan symbol would be horrible. Like I'd have to fight someone for those because those would be
put on the side,
black and red. And it has to be infrared too.
I think once we get all this mess, past all this mess, I think the future is bright. We just have to clear
it's clearing the brush and clearing people's childish notions for now because it's going to be a little emotional for now. But once you kind of get over it, then we can start moving on to more progress.
British Knight Batmans.
We're doomed.
British Knights, man. I'll tell you what. That right there. British Knights are coming back, man. I've been finding British Knights at all kinds of different places, man. Going shoe shopping and stuff, and I'm like, because shoe ain't nothing without the BK button.
Remember, Cool Mo D would do the commercials for those.
Dude, everybody, man. British Knights were the shoe.
I had them. Snakeskins. Oh man,
the shoe. I had. I think altogether I had 3 different pairs of British Knights, 2 that were high tops, and 1 I had the red ones that had the big B and the K on the sides. Yeah. Heck Yeah.
I know it was
You threw 'em in
expensive
the
as hell
garbage?
back
Oh,
then,
they were
dude.
so expensive. They were so
Wow.
expensive. But man, yeah, that's some memories.
Oh,
right
this is gonna be
there.
a fun topic.
Okay, so just real quick, I just got a couple more topics, and if you guys want to keep going, you guys keep going. I don't care. Dave Bautista is looking for more dramatic roles after Guardians. I just don't know if I want Drax to be my legacy. Now,
Good for him.
No,
absolutely.
I think it's perfect.
This is awesome. This guy, I tell you what, when
I'm so
I
happy for
interviewed
him.
him last year, well, now it's 2021. But when I interviewed him in 2021, I knew there was something different about Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista was never my favorite wrestler or whatever. I mean, I respected what he did. I respected what he did, whatnot, but he was never my biggest favorite wrestler or whatever. But I started taking notice of Dave Bautista and the roles that he was picking as far as being an actor. And I immediately understood that he was not going down the same path as The Rock or John Cena or that we see others. Now, John Cena's trying to bring it back around.
I think he's going to be good in 2 years.
And I got to give him credit for that. Even John Cena, I think, is doing a better job than The Rock as far as from an acting perspective. You could possibly say, well, The Rock has these big movies and he's part of these big franchises and stuff like that.
Same.
But they're all the same, and just honestly, his acting ability, he's got one lane, and I don't know that it's that he just can't do any more than that. I think that he possibly could, but I think that he's just kind of stuck there, And so
it's typecasting too. It's typecasting.
Yeah, I think at this point, I just think that it would take a lot for him to move out. But I look at Dave Bautista as being somebody who's going to end up transcend. I think if not already, he's doing it, transcending the entire idea of just being wrestler turned actor. But the actor also said that he was embraced by fellow Dune star Javier Bardem following a screening of Glass Onion. Our conversations after that were different, which for me was effing everything.
I love Javier Bardem.
Yeah, Dave Bautista says that there's a relief to winding down his run as Guardian of the Galaxy's Drax as he looks towards more dramatic roles in his future. In a new GQ profile, the Glass Onion star, which, by the way, I really liked Glass Onion.
I've not watched it yet, but I've heard funny things about it. So
yeah, I really liked it. And I look forward to seeing him in the Knock at the Cabin. But it says the star talks about his career trajectory from the WWE to the big screen, along with his personal acting ambitions. The actor acknowledges he's in a transition period, one where he closes the door on the MCU franchise and its comedic character that helped launch his acting career, and a future in more dramatic work. I'm so grateful for Drax. I love him, the actor said, but there's a relief that it's over. It wasn't all pleasant. It was hard playing that role. The makeup process was beating me down, and I just don't know if I want Drax to be my legacy. It's a silly performance, and I want to do more dramatic stuff. Bautista has portrayed Drax for nearly a decade across multiple movies and the latest Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. But he's also been in Dune. He's been in Blade Runner 2049. He says, if I could be a number one on the call sheet with Denis, I would do it for effing free, he said. I think that's how I could find out how good I could be. He brings out the best in me. He sees me in a different light, sees the performance that I want to be, or the performer that I want to be. That might be how I solve the puzzle. Bautista's Glass Onion director supports his star's ambition, telling the magazine that the person in Hollywood that gives Dave a real dramatic lead role in a movie will ultimately look like a genius. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago here on the show. The Dune star revealed that he has already felt a shift in the way he's being viewed among his peers, noting that Javier Bardem, his co-star in the sci-fi epic sequel, already shared an effing surreal moment with Bautista that gave the Guardian star a boost in confidence about his more serious screen ambitions. The moment happened after Bardem, who had previously done some press with Bautista for the first Dune film, attended an early screening of the Netflix Whodunit, which saw Bautista's co-star dancing through the aisles. Our conversations after that were different, which for me was effing everything. Those are the kinds of moments Batista says he's looking for more of. I never wanted to be the next Rock, he explained. I just want to be a good effing actor.
He's smoking the Rock pack.
A respected actor. Honestly, I could give a F about being a movie star, he added. I don't live a great big glamorous life. I live here in Tampa. I don't care about the spotlight. I don't care about fame. I just want to be a better actor. I want respect from my peers. I don't need accolades. I really don't, man. It's about the experience, about knowing that I accomplished something.
Is there comments? No comments?
Is there comments?
No.
Wait. No comments. No comments. Okay.
But I agree with him. Like, he is the better actor as The Rock.
I think people are taking this out of context. First of all, it wasn't a shot at The Rock. That was a shot at the idea of comparing him to another wrestler that turned into an actor because it's a very easy, convenient thing to do. That's the problem. He doesn't want to be put in that same box. He wants to have range. He wants more range with his roles. He wants to do more things. He doesn't want to be typecasted. And to me, that's not all on Dwayne Johnson. That is on Hollywood historically doing this. Let me tell you, there's a story actually. Everyone remembers Newman, right? Y'all remember Newman from Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Never connected.
Well, he's the guy. You don't remember Newman, William?
I barely watched that show.
Oh, it's well.
You need help.
I know who Newman is.
He couldn't get roles because Hollywood typecast him as the funny fat guy. This is the problem with Hollywood. They put you in this box and then you can't get better because they don't think you're worth the risk. And I think that.
But see, I don't think that's the Rock's problem now, though, because the Rock is making his own films. The Rock is developing his own. He's got his own production company. He's the one who's choosing the roles that he does now. Nobody is picking roles for the Rock anymore.
Well, yeah,
a lot of it has to do with the personality of the people in their careers as well. If you follow Bautista's career, John Cena and Batista and The Rock all were in the same generation of stars. Batista was a main eventer, but he was the complementary part of the main event.
In fairness, the reason for that was due to injuries. If he never got injured, we might be having different conversations about the hierarchy of WWE history, but that's another conversation.
But he's also said that he was fine with that because the type of promos and type of things that he had to cut to be that other guy, he just wasn't willing to do, and he was okay with that. But he always found himself up against The Undertaker, main eventing or WrestleMania, and main eventing a pay-per-view, but he did it in a way that wasn't like he wasn't the flag bearer. Batista was never really the flag bearer of WWE. The people he fought in WrestleMania was like his series with The Undertaker was great, but he wasn't the star of that feud. It was The Undertaker. His feud with John Cena and Rick Flair, whatever he was never really the star of that feud, but he was the other half that you had to have to make it work.
Batista was the guy, I would say, for like a good year and a half, and then the injuries happened, and they kind of had to retool out his career, and then other things just happened circumstances. He's not the only one. Brock Lesnar, due to Brock Lesnar going to UFC, was another one again. Things kind of different.
Brock Lesnar fleecing the WWE.
Yeah, fleecing the WWE was a problem, but I mean, that's the thing. Dave clearly wants to do things his own way and clearly has a different mindset of what he's doing. And he just wants to be a great actor and help out making art. And he was the same way in WWE. He just wanted to make things better. I mean, everyone got so mad that Triple H beat him in Batista's last match, but I'm like, you guys do understand Dave made that decision. That wasn't Triple. Dave wanted to lose that match because Dave wanted to A, pay back Triple H for his entire career, but B, that's how Dave is. So, yeah, I'm very happy for him. I think this is the perfect mindset, and I don't think he's taking shots at The Rock. He's taking shots at you people comparing him to The Rock because it's completely bogus and BS to even make that stupid comparison. The only thing that they have in common is they both came from wrestling into acting. That's it. That is the baseline of that entire conversation, and that's the only conversation. And I say the same thing with John Cena. They're going different directions, and I think John and Dave are going to be, to me, better actors for it, and they're going to be in projects that we're going to go, damn, those guys were in wrestling. And even then, I appreciate John Cena because I don't know how he does it. This man is so dedicated to still being John Cena, and WWE he still comes back. So yeah,
Didn't he come back recently?
Yes, he
Come
did.
back
For a little bit. I think he's wrapping it up though, because like I said, he's one of the main guys who said that, you know what, I'm a hit away from a head concussion. I mean, things like that. They put their bodies through a lot, and they're the lucky ones. John Cena is actually one of the luckier ones, and same thing with The Rock. They were the luckier ones because as the main draws, they didn't have to do all the house shows.
Exactly.
No, not necessarily because it took steroids. But if you look at the fact that what your body goes through, if you're in the lower and the mid card, you're the one doing the house shows. You're the one traveling by car. You're the one traveling, on lesser forms, and
you're doing more of the stunts. Yeah, you're doing more of the. The mid card is the workhorse division. That's why we call it the workhorse division, because that's where a lot of the work gets done. When you're in the top card, you are promo based. You are cutting more promos. You are doing more PR work. You're doing more of the face work. Roman Reigns has probably done less work right now where he's at than I've ever seen him doing when it comes to actually doing work. It's incredible, and it's working.
He's booked horribly, though.
I know.
The bloodline feud needs to go away.
You know what it is? You know what the problem is? It's not him. It's not even the bloodline. It's the lack of not having an opposition, and that's on them. Well, now, I don't know when this is going to happen, but they're clearly ratcheting up the Hurt Business. They need to make that. I'm fine with that.
Christ. I was fine with that. This is the problem with WWE in general. Is they're just running out. Well, they keep retreading things. I mean, for every other year, I got Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and it's not. I can't blame Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. That's the way they book it.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas the other night, I'm watching Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, and one of the best matches I've seen in my 40 years of watching wrestling. Well, they put on a clinic. And they built up the feud in a short time, and they put on a clinic. I wish people would watch more New Japan, but they built up that the way when we were kids watching wrestling on Saturday morning, they built that feud up that way, and then they put on
so much storytelling within wrestling that's just missing now.
Yeah, there's just done.
And I think, and again, with the bloodline, though, I will say one thing: the Sami Zayn element is storytelling at its finest. That is he is the only reason that they're still together. Because his storyline is absolutely so good. The storytelling with him and Kevin is phenomenal. But other than that, with the problem is that's the main part of it. But the champion has literally nothing. What do we have as an opposition?
He's holding both. He's holding both belts, and he's kind of worthless in both divisions.
Exactly. He's holding it hostage, to be honest. And my whole thing is you haven't built up Bobby Lashley well enough. You haven't built up all. You should have first of all, Drew McIntyre should have took one of the belts by now. To me, they made it misfire. Absolute misfire. The moment was so perfect for Drew McIntyre to take that belt, and they blew it. I think they blew it in wherever the hell they were, whatever goddamn country they were. It was over. It was in the UK. It was in the King in that castle,
Saturday morning. Yeah, Saturday morning pay-per-view was what that was.
But even still, the moment was perfect. The crowd was everything was perfect to have Drew take the belt, and I think it would have been fine. We'd have two faces, and then you'd have multiple feuds flowing in and out. But you kept it on Roman, and now we're sitting here with nothing for the champion to do, and it's been that way for months. And to be honest with you, that's a problem. That's a major problem among other issues.
That guy will never lose, bro. That guy will never lose.
He needs to get out of wrestling too, because a lot of these guys that you're seeing right now are going to get out. Dave Bautista's only mistake.
Roman's leaving too.
Yeah, and he needs to do it now while he's still in the 30s. The only mistake I would say Dave Bautista made is he got out too late.
Yes.
He didn't start acting until he was in his mid-40s, his mid to early, and he should have
got out earlier.
He should have got out earlier. He should have been, he should have been a lot further along. He's amazing for the time he has put in, but can you imagine if Dave Bautista said at 38, 36, 37 that I'm done with wrestling, I'm going to commit to acting? As good as he is now, he would have been that much better. And I think a lot of these guys, are going to be like, do I want to tear up my body? For 265 days.
That's a progression point, because the same with UFC. They go to WWE to lessen the wear on their bodies and make more money.
Yeah.
But soon you're going to ask, okay, I want to do acting.
Yeah. And then the steroid issue, be honest with you, a lot of these guys,
they all do steroids. Who cares?
If you look at some of the guys these days, some of them are, believe it or not, you can build up. I know this is unheard heard of, but you can build up muscle mass without steroids. It does happen.
It does happen.
Yes, we know
Bobby
that.
Lashley, I don't believe is on steroids.
No, I don't think Bobby's on steroids.
If you look at The Rock, every time I'm on his Instagram, the dude's pumping iron at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, and drinking protein shakes and stuff like that. Well, like I said, I mean, The Rock, I don't think so because of his general selfishness as far as his health goes. Steroids will eventually get to you.
I think what people, they also have a misunderstanding of steroids. Steroids are not people have this misunderstanding. Steroids do not make you get ripped. It's not a magic pill. No, you have to put the work in. Yeah. You still have to put the work in. It's just that steroids allow you to keep putting the work in more and more and more. As where if you don't take steroids and do it natural, it takes longer. You have to take days off. Steroids, you don't have to do that. You can just build your muscle mass like that. But it takes the work.
At 50, I mean, he's been working out like this since forever. And if you look at his physique as he left wrestling, that's where his physique got more defined because the wear and tear wasn't there. The whole thing with the steroids and the painkillers when it comes to wrestling was to keep you so that you could keep performing. Because if you weren't performing, you weren't getting paid. Exactly. If you fell out of the picture, the painkillers, steroids was never the issue.
It was painkillers.
As much. It's the painkillers is what the problem in wrestling.
That would drive you nuts. Though I will say, like, there are wrestlers that are clearly still on steroids. Jordan Grace is one of them. Which I think is sad because she didn't need them, but
I don't think she's.
No, dude, I'm sorry. I've followed that girl her whole career, and I'm gonna tell you right now, her voice was never, ever, ever that defined and deep, and she never looked like that. When your voice goes, and then Maria and her friend Maria Manic did the same thing. When your voice goes from an octave that's pretty well feminine to, oh my God, what happened to you? Where it's like so deep, you're taking something.
You're taking something, but there's a lot of somethings out there that are perfectly legal and that can get you ripped up.
I'm not saying it's illegal. Yeah. I'm just saying that she's taking a lot of shit. And
but there's a difference between that. There's some shit, and then remember when creatine was banned. It's like, creatine,
right.
Everybody uses
creatine. They need to start legalizing more of this because honestly, they're going to take it anyway. So I look at it like.
Yeah, legalize it, put it under a doctor's care so that,
and I think that with a lot of drugs anyway, because they're going to do it anyway, and you can start profiting off of it anyway. So
can I ask you all a question? Because you guys are all going, and I'm fine with it. Does anybody care about Stephen Amell coming back?
Not really.
We knew he was coming back. Okay, let's be honest. We knew he was coming back because he started the universe and stuff like that. So we knew
the 30 people that are watching the WB or CW are thrilled that he's coming back.
CW, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah,
whatever.
I can hear them now. They're all in one room now because that's where you can fit all the people who knew.
Good for them.
I've seen a lot of people talking about how like they haven't watched in a long time, but they're going to watch this.
It's a good for them.
They will.
I will not be one of them.
They will.
And he's not the only one that's coming back. So they're bringing him back. They're bringing John Diggle back. So David Ramsey is also coming back.
They're going to be in the same episode.
Yeah, they're bringing back the guy who played Wally West. They're bringing back and they're bringing back what's his name who played Bloodwork, which I really don't care about, but okay. Yeah, I mean, so they're bringing a bunch of people back all at the same time. But who does Stephen Amell come back as? Remember,
it's a comic book movie. It's a comic. He could come back as Arrow.
No, but I'm asking the question: who does he come back as? Because
Arrow.
Does he? Or does he come back as Spectre?
Both, bro.
Why did you remind me of that?
He was the Spectre. He became the Spectre. So does he come back as Arrow, or does he come back as the Spectre?
Am I going to do steroids and get high right now?
I need something. That's almost as bad as Hal Jordan being the Spectre for the couple pages he was.
Steroids. Let's just get it on.
I'm just asking. Hey, I'm just asking. What's up, Drav Walker? Drav Walker is here. I feel like I should have that drop. Now there's a name that I haven't heard in quite a while. What's up, Drav Walker? It's good to see you, my friend. I always love Luke. Luke is a great guy, longtime supporter of the channel and friend of the channel.
I haven't seen this in a long time.
We love you, bro. Good to see you, man. We're doing well.
It could be Spectre, but now that you mentioned that, remind me of that.
Yeah,
it could as easily be him. Wow.
No, I think.
Right?
I think. This is my own theory. I think it's gonna be. He will show as the Spectre, and then the Flash will go to a different universe to Green Arrow. because they rediscovered the universe, and I read the comic book, the Earth Prime comic. They rediscovered the universe.
God.
So,
You know what? Just what time is Doom Patrol on? Because I can care less at this point.
What?
Doom Patrol comes up. So
I got a feeling in the back of my head that even with this reset, there's going to be a lot of stuff out there that's just not gone. I just got a feeling that it's. I just got a feeling that there's going to be doors open.
You know, I'm gonna say it. They need to keep Titans and Doom Patrol, and the rest of it can just go. Keep Titans and Doom Patrol.
No. Well, Stargirl is short. Yeah. Yes.
And Stargirl. You know, keep Star. I should say Stargirl as well.
Well,
keep
Titans is on its last season. Titans is going to be on its last season pretty soon. It's a really expensive show to do. Titans is really
I think to me, Titans actually has more things they could have covered.
No, actually,
I think to be honest with you, they're covering a lot, and where they're at in their age, I'm okay with them getting one more season because I never thought that damn show was going to last more than one season.
Me neither.
When I would watch Titans and I heard all the shit people talk, I'm like, yeah,
dude. When I saw him literally say "F Batman," I was like,
I was sold. And not only did he say "fuck Batman," he beat the hell out of all those people around him, and then he said it. He gave me my violence up front, and he had me sold from it. And then I liked Hawk and Dove. I liked all that stuff, and it wasn't perfect.
I actually liked season 1 up until the Trigon crap. I was like, okay,
cardboard Trigon was bad. Clay Trigon was. They could have done that better.
That's always my problem, though. I have had with Titans is you start off, you go really well, then the end of the season comes. I'm like, okay, what?
Their finales are not.
What's going on with this season? When is it coming back?
I don't know.
I still got 6 episodes. They did 6 episodes, and then there's no information.
No, they say drop, I believe, in the next couple months. They just finish individual effects on it.
Yeah, they're going to start doing that with all their series, by the way. They are going to not do them. They're going to have intermissions in between because that's just a strategy. That's just a strategy that a lot of streaming services are going to do.
But whatever.
Yeah. Well, what it does, though, it keeps them in the conversations, their shows a lot longer.
That is true.
I get it
because then you can't, I get it. But I will say it's funny, though, with Doom Patrol and Titan. Because, I have to thank Titans for one thing. They're the reason that Doom Patrol came to be, even though they're separated from the universe.
Beast Boy was
Thank you, Beast Boy. Well, and they had the right origins with the actual Titans one because Beast Boy's supposed to be in it and all that. Whatever.
What Earth is? Earth 9 is Titans and Earth 21 is Doom Patrol, I believe. Something like that because of the end of Crisis.
Consolidate the stuff, keep what works, and move on. I'm okay with
and by the way, I love the Doom Patrol writers. They said, nah, we're gonna do our own thing, and I was okay with that. I loved it.
Well, it's Vertigo. They took it right back to Vertigo. They took it right back.
They did the comic series everyone said you couldn't do, and they've done it to a T perfectly.
And Sandman did the same thing. Everything you're seeing in Sandman is Vertigo, straight up Vertigo from the storytelling, the risk taking. Back when comics took risks with their storylines, that's what Doom Patrol was. Doom Patrol was a cast-off comic. It was something that DC was always looking to cancel. And then finally, when Vertigo came along, Doom Patrol got its feet. Same thing with Swamp Thing. Every other week, they were trying to cancel Swamp Thing. But when they started folding in Swamp Thing into Vertigo, and then Jonah Hex and all these other things came along, it became its own little thing, and they were able to do whatever they want to, thanks to Neil Gaiman, because Sandman was the torch that lit the way for Doom Patrol and all these. They weren't all together, but Vertigo was being carried by Neil Gaiman, and it gave people a chance to read all this stuff that they would have never. I had people that were never going to pick up Swamp Thing, but you folded it up into that Vertigo line, people started giving it a chance, which is
funny. It's funny to me that both Doom Patrol and Titans are produced by the same company that Craig Berlanti does, which is funny.
It's Berlanti with money. It's Berlanti. Yeah. It's what happens when you give it a little bit more money. Like I said,
if you give him money, he will do good. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if he would do cinematically well because I've never seen him.
I don't know about that level. But with TV shows, with TV he does. But
Titans, you got one more season at the
max. I think Titans and then Doom Patrol. I'm not gonna lie, Doom Patrol could have ended after the 3rd season. I would have been okay.
Yeah, if Doom Patrol gets a 4th, they're fine with that. I think they're going to get a 4th.
I am not I thought they could have ended it so well too because the way they ended it was so perfect. They went full circle. I said, you know what? This is a perfect ending for the show. They did everything I wanted.
It's really expensive. Doom Patrol is really expensive.
A very expensive show. And the actors that they have on it are going to be in high demand. Let's be honest. These with what the job they've done, those actors in high demand.
Once Brendan Fraser wins his Oscar, he ain't.
Brendan Fraser's bolting, bro. I mean, what that man did as Robot Man is incredible to me. And Diane Guerrero was probably the best actor on the show because she had the most to do. She had the most to do.
Crazy Jane, yeah, she was. She actually did a Gorfin Black type performance where she had to be different people and she had to do them well. So
all of them acted well, all of them. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, my Luke Skywalker would have been Larry. I've always said the actor playing Larry should be Luke Skywalker. I think he's perfect.
But Raised by Wolves, like I said, Raised by Wolves. It was another show that I did like. But
I gotta watch Raised by Wolves.
It was so expensive. There was no way.
I like Raised by Wolves. I'm still trying to get through the last season here.
I gotta watch. I heard it's like
it's
ridiculous.
a hard watch, man.
I know.
Like,
it
goes off on these weird tangents and goes off on this weird stuff, and I'm just like, what the heck am
Brendan
I watching?
Fraser's probably gonna get an Oscar, guys. I've seen some of what he's done.
You know who else might win? It's gonna be fucking hilarious. It's gonna be Will Smith could win for Emancipation, and if I'm the Oscars, I let him back. And guess who I have presenting him the award? I have Chris Rock come out and hand him the trophy. And
that would be pure money. That would be pure money.
And a hug. And then and instead of that, the slap being the last thing you remember of those two being on stage with each other, he's handing him his second Oscar and they're hugging, and then that's it. That would be cool because
full circle and it'd be hilarious.
That won't happen.
Yeah, I know,
not going to happen in any sense.
No, he's only been for like 10 years. He'll be back in 2032. That's not that far.
I don't. You know what? It's that a conversation on telephone. If he's nominated and it looks like he's going to win, I would see them.
They would look pretty bad if they kept the black man out of the Oscars. Well,
and nobody watches.
And y'all know it ain't going to look pretty.
J Money. Here's the thing. Swamp Thing. Season 1 was really good. It was 10 hours, though, of a setup for the origins of a character that we never got to see the actual character like in full mode of like what they were. So it was really good, but it was basically a big old tease for a show that never or for something that never transpired. Like, it was really good, and you were like, I remember Tiffany and I watching it going, man, this is really good. We really like it. This is really awesome. And then it got canceled, and we're like,
for the dumbest reasons. For the dumbest reasons I've ever.
Dumbest.
It wasn't tax. It was tax stuff, right? It was
tax. It was contractual.
It's tax stuff because of where it was made. Because of where it was made. And it was just like, this is the dumbest thing ever because it had so much potential that we were now going to get to see Swamp Thing in his full glory. No, nothing.
You know what's funny?
Not finishing, bro. They don't finish.
What's
that
funny
being
is
said, guys,
yeah,
I am fading fast. It is 3:46 a.m. William, do you want to keep going for a little bit?
I got another 15 minutes in me.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn over to you guys. You guys can talk about whatever you guys want to. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. I started a little bit late. I started at almost 1 a.m. My time, and I still got to get up at like 6:30. So and it's like 3:46. So I'm pushing on like the old days, guys, for y'all because I love y'all. And Poindexter Lounge has been back, and so grateful for all you guys here in the new year. Thank you to everyone who's on the show. Thank you guys for your support of me and the lounge. And that's why we got William here, though, because William is gonna take it home for us. And got 60 people still here in the chat, which is awesome. But hey, make sure you hit that like button, please. Okay, hit that like button. Film Goblin, I mean, I can give you a link. I don't know how much longer they're gonna go, man, but I can give you a link.
We're only gonna go to about another 15 minutes.
We got to talk about the Vincent Kennedy McMahon situation.
Yeah, I'll get you on over the weekend, Gob.
Okay, so there you go. So he'll get you in over the weekend, bro. And you've been on the last couple nights with us. It's just yeah. So we'll just do that. But hey, love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow sometime. Tomorrow night, I will tell you this. If you enjoy my new podcast, the Black and White and Red All Over podcast, we're going to be live tomorrow with a new episode of that podcast and the whole crew.
I guess you're not going late night. I'll be at work soon.
What's that?
I'll be at work, so I'm probably going to miss it because I'm thinking you're not going to go late night. So
I may go late night with my own show, but
right.
But the Black and White we're at all over podcast that I do with the guys, that'll be earlier, probably about 8 p.m. So because I think we're going to pre-record one and then do one live. So all right, guys. Hey, thanks so much for your support, and I'm gonna turn over to these guys. Have a wonderful night and stay nerdy. All right. Thank you guys. Love you guys.
Bye,
and we'll talk to you all later. I'm gonna go get some sleep.
All
All right. Bye-bye.
What's funny about
All right.
something?
First things first.
Oh,
Wow. I've been waiting.
He left.
He's been waiting to finally pull the trigger
Wow,
on that.
improvements to the show right when I left. Wow, amazing.
I hate every single one of you. Go to hell.
I had that arrow on the remove button for
Damn,
34
I've
minutes.
been waiting for him to finally pull the trigger, man. I've been waiting for him to have the balls to pull it, but he finally did it.
There's nothing left of the show. That's all I really wanted to do. But now, wrestling real quick, because I am going to cover this Vince McMahon thing. I'm not going to cover as much here, but I'm going to cover it on our overnight show and possibly tomorrow night. This guy is a nut job. I mean, I always understood that Vince McMahon was a sleazy motherfucker.
Yes, but I'm going to tell you, it's a freaking power move. That's all he's doing. This is a complete power move. The terms and negotiations is basically, if you want to buy the company, you're going to have to buy it, but I still get to do anything I want. Yeah, let me tell you something.
I have to be on board for it to
right,
sell.
not going to happen. No company is going to agree to those terms. They're going to be like, nah, we clean house, motherfucker. We buy this goddamn company. Everything's gone.
He wants to what I understand, he wants to be on board to facilitate the sell, not to not sell it. He wants, you be honest with you, here's the thing though. If I can get WWE out of Vince McMahon's hands, let's do it. Let's let Amazon or somebody offer them money and get him out of the because I know he's not the CEO anymore. It's still Vince McMahon. It's still WWE.
He's the majority shareholder, guys.
He's there. I mean, and I think WWE.
What if Disney buy it?
Again, his terms are he has to. If you buy it, he still has to be in. He's like a tick. If I buy it, and he's still there. What's the point? Well, what is the absolute point?
I think he is trying to sell it, but I don't know if he wants to be involved beyond that point. Because to be honest with you, you know who needs to buy it and needs to buy it is Universal. They already have the programming. They've already folded up the WWE network into their system.
Do they even have the money for it?
Yes, Comcast could buy.
Universal has the money.
They could buy the solar system. The Comcast is a big company. They could buy WWE. WWE not as worth as a lot of people think it is. It's worth billions, but not all.
It's not a giant.
Yeah, you could purchase them, but yeah. I mean, like I said, I have somebody who's been watching wrestling for a very long time. I think the WWE has been an awful product since the late 90s. That's just me, and I have a lot of reasons why. It's not just because I hate WWE. I can watch certain WWE, but the overall product has been garbage to me since the Attitude Era. And now, and it just
started dying right with the Ruthless Aggression. There's many holes that were completely getting more exposed. And then once they started trying to go PG for political reasons, it just went downhill.
Yeah,
and now
it went, Mae Young showing her boot. I mean, the whole thing was just, it was a nightmare. But at the same time, if it weren't for WWE's product being what it is, I wouldn't be watching a lot of MLS. I wouldn't be watching a lot of AAA. I wouldn't be watching a lot of New Japan. I wouldn't be watching a lot of British AEW. Man, like I said, the Kenny Omega, he's going to come back on AEW with that U.S. title. If that match, and he needs to wrestle Will Ospreay again on AEW TV, and
they're gonna have a trilogy. They're gonna have a trilogy. Don't worry. They're gonna have a trilogy.
That match was amazing, and like I said, I am not easily swayed because of what I've seen. That match, I thought they were going to kill each other. There was an inverted DDT in his Will Ospreay's head slammed against that post, and I'm like, when he's on the ground, I'm like, please move a leg or something so that I know you're not.
New Japan goes on like very hard, guys. Like their kicks are real. Like they do stiff kicks, and I'm glad. And I knew they were gonna steal the show because I knew Omega. Because remember, like Omega and Okada stole like the show back in the day. So
and poor Okada and Jay White, they had to go on after that match, which was a crime. This is the one
crime to humanity.
Yeah, two nights for this would have been better.
Dude, I remember when I was watching NXT Brooklyn, I'm just thinking Kevin and Finn have to follow Bailey and Sasha after what they just did. Nah, that's just criminal. It's criminal.
Peter Rabbit's defender. Will Smith is not going to win the Oscars this year, though.
Divisive, you mean?
Okay. Yes, it is. But guess what? Django Unchained was divisive. All right. And it won Christoph Waltz an Academy Award. Glory was Glory was.
It would be pretty bad if their reasoning for not giving the Oscar to Will Smith is emancipation is divisive. All the crap they do to pander to people now with what they do. Yeah, Glory, it's going to be a bad look for them to say, "Oh, this movie about black people isn't going to really do. It's too divisive."
No, and I think divisive because of the racial. I'm assuming that, Peter Rabbit. But if you look at 12 Years a Slave, a movie that every time I watch it, I have to tell myself this is hundreds of years ago and this is a movie. I don't hate white people. All right, and Michael Fassbender is his only actor. He's his only actor.
Michael Fassbender should be given. Did he win an Oscar for that? Because
he got nominated. He got nominated. I wanted.
He should have won one for that because I wanted to murder him.
I wanted to kill that man, but watching.
And I'm just thinking, this man made me fall in love with him as Magneto. Yet he wanted to kill him right here. This man's brilliant.
Yeah, and then a lot of people said that movie was divisive because of the content. But Lupe, I forgot her.
Lupita Nyong'o.
No, she won an Oscar for that character.
Even though I wouldn't have given it to her, but that's just me. I wouldn't have given it to her for that performance.
I don't think the divisiveness would stop it from him winning this. The only thing that could stop him from winning it is if the voters are still keeping what happened last year in their heads. But to be honest with you, like I said, I would have him win. If he won it, I'd have Chris Rock up there coming out with the Oscar, and dude, that would steal the show, and that would give you a lasting memory instead of the one you've had.
And another thing, it would make ratings gold.
Nobody's watching the Oscars this year, people. The only reason to watch
I'd only watch for Brendan Fraser, and that's it.
Top Gun to see if Tom Cruise finally gets nominated and wins. Even though it's not the movie he should win it for, but the Oscars does it that way. The Oscars will give you an award 8 or 9 years after the award.
Right. Denzel should have won for Malcolm X, but I mean, Training Day should have won for. He should have won.
Yeah, and he won for Glory too. But Whoopi Goldberg should have won for Color Purple. Kate Winslet should have won for Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but she ran for The Reader, which was not as good a movie in my opinion. But, and they do that. They do that. Robin Williams should have won for The Fisher King. The only reason why Robin Williams didn't win for Fisher King is he was up against an all-time great performance in Hannibal Lecter's Anthony Hopkins. Same thing with Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. for Tropic Thunder. If it wasn't for Heath Ledger's Joker, Robert Downey Jr. probably wins Best Supporting that year.
And maybe if it wasn't for Heath Ledger, ultimately
he would have won the Oscar.
They would have been a lot closer. Who knows? But because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not joking. I'm not ashamed to admit this. I never watched the end of Tropic Thunder for the longest time, for weird reasons. For 3 to 4 straight years, I did not know that was a white man playing a black man.
Are you serious?
Wait, are you serious?
I never watched the ending. I never really watched the end. I was young. That movie came out when I was young, so I didn't think about it. I was in high school, never thinking about it. But when I got to age 17, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Didn't they show him in the beginning though when they were assembling all the actors? I paid attention to that movie. I was too busy on the Simple Jack shit. But I'm thinking, this is a white man.
I didn't know, and I'm an idiot, I guess. I didn't know until after I saw the movie that Les Grossman was Tom Cruise.
That's how good these guys are.
Jammed up, and he's cussing, and I didn't hear.
I didn't put that in Tom Cruise either.
He's like, I will bend you over and blood. I mean, he's like, I've never heard Tom Cruise. And then I'm like, I recognize the voice from somewhere, but I didn't put it. His hands were enlarged. He was dancing and acting crazy. And then he did that a couple of years later on the MTV Music Awards. Him and J-Lo did that exact dance. And I'm like, dude, this guy's crazy.
For the record, he wants to do a Les Grossman project now.
It needs to happen.
The problem is, could they get away with it? Could you get away with the amount of horrific things you're going to have to say?
You can.
Yeah.
I hope so, because I think it's needed. I think we need a way to make fun of Hollywood executives, because that's what Tropic Thunder was doing. They're making fun of the whole business.
Yeah.
If you actually pay attention to that movie, they were roasting Hollywood in so many great ways.
They did blackface right at the time, and then people say, "Well, you can't do blackface."
It was mocking blackface.
Yeah, I'm the dude playing the dude disguised as another.
There's another dude. It was perfect. He goes, "Wait, what do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people?" That's brilliant. I don't care what anyone tells you. That deserved an Oscar.
That was in the trailer. But
I guarantee you he'd be back.
Tropic Thunder was the last comedy I actually paid to see it in the movie. So
Tropic Thunder is one of the greatest movies ever created. Yeah. It's so good. And the thing about it is they could never get away with it again.
I think they could try.
They could try. That's what Robert Downey Jr. says, that you could try. You can't guarantee it's going to get released.
Yes, he should have won for Chaplin.
Chaplin too.
That was his comeback movie. What was the other thing? Like I said, I watch John Campea in the morning. While I'm doing other things. It's a good. They're talking about.
He's informative, but man, he's such a pompous ass.
Well, the thing him and Robert Meyer Burnett doing a lot of pundits. The Ezra Miller thing came up because of the possibility that he could still do the Flash. I have been saying this for the last 7 months. Is all these guys on the internet and on these small screens think that they are reflective of the general population? Right. And like I said again and again and again. Deshaun Watson got $238 million while he was fighting and settling rape allegations, and they cheer him and they bought his jersey. And Robert Downey Jr. was in an orange jumpsuit in front of a judge for heroin charges, and guess what? He's doing well. Well, that was back in the 90s. It doesn't matter. Did Michael Jackson, up to the day he died, stop selling albums and selling out arenas? No. Now, if these people, what they have done is, if they are guilty of what they have done, that's one thing. But you can't tell the average consumer how to feel. If they go to see The Flash and they think that if The Flash makes a lot of money and it is determined that Ezra Miller, not more than Batman or any other thing, is the reason why it did, then you should leave the door open. Because like I said, the audience is not obligated to give a rat's ass about what we think is right or wrong. Nope. That is not their relationship. So that's what I want to get out, because that was dogging me. I made a comment on his YouTube channel because he said, "What's your comments?" And now I got all these people like, "I would never go see it." And he's like, "I would never." Okay, great. You guys are the same audience that pretty much makes up the CW audience. They're not going to.
Here's another thing I want to also say. It's the same thing you say about the Aquaman thing. Oh, Amber Heard's this and that and that. Okay, great. Most people don't actually give a damn. They really aren't going to care. If they want to go watch Aquaman, they're going to watch Aquaman. Most people don't actually care to follow through on their threats of boycotting and all this, because actually, at the end of the day, it's actually pretty difficult to just not watch something and you think about it when it's in your head. When you're thinking about it, you actually want to see it. The more it sticks in your head, the more you want to see it. You don't even want to watch. You're still going to watch it.
Yeah, Joe Average is not reading Variety. Joe Average is not reading a Hollywood Reporter.
I got a better one. Joe Average doesn't even know who Ezra Miller is. He just knows the Flash is out there.
They know what the Flash is out there.
Exactly. They don't even know who the hell Ezra Miller is. They
know who's Ben Affleck. They know who's Michael Keaton. They know who's Michael Shannon. They know who's what else? Gal Gadot, Jason. They know all those people. Now Ezra Miller. Like, come on.
Yeah, Ezra Miller's not a MILF magnet. Most of those people you brought out are MILF magnets, or in Gal Gadot case is I don't know.
Let me make this very clear, dude. Superman didn't really make Henry Cavill all that popular at first, because there was a time where that man was walking and people didn't know who he was. He's walking in Times Square. Now, that, in fairness, a lot of people, that can happen to anyone in Times Square, but that's the point, though. That's the point, though. People didn't even it didn't catch on for Henry until like after B versus S, and when he started getting into other projects and he started connecting dots. Like, just because you play a big time role in DC doesn't actually mean you're going to be known for anything. You have to, it takes some time, but like, yeah, people don't know who Ezra Miller is. They don't even know that Ezra Miller is the guy playing Flash. They're like, oh, there's a guy playing Flash. Okay, cool.
And guess what? Even if they know about these things, like I said, that doesn't affect. Kobe Bryant went to the 2004 NBA Finals, all right, while he was on trial for rape. And the people of LA, which is where I am from, that's not their relationship. Can you put that ball in the hoop? Can you get that steal? Can you get into the end zone? Are you making something that entertains me? I don't care about now, when bodies start showing up, different thing. Child doing things with, but even there's things with the children. Usually it used to be you touch children off limit. Michael Jackson was accused of a whole bunch of stuff. All right, could sell out up to the day he died in June of 2009. Could have gone to any arena here in America, sold it out. Was selling out the Tokyo Dome. You know how big the Tokyo Dome is? He could go sell out. Okay, so are those people wrong? No, they're customers. Yeah. You cannot tell the consumer how they should feel just because you ain't going to go see it. And that's what drives me. Ezra's not coming back. I'm like, dude, hypothetically, if Ezra hits $1 billion, all right, money talks. All right, feelings and anger don't keep the power on. Money does. So that's all I wanted to put out about that. You guys got any last minutes before I wrap this up?
Not much really. No.
Have a great Friday.
I'm not belittling the general audience. I'm actually giving them more credit. They're not obligated to care about anything Ezra Miller is going through. They're not obligated to care about anything Michael Jackson did. If they like his music, they can go buy his ticket. And if he's not in prison,
guys, you know how long it took to even get people to really hate R. Kelly?
Yeah. And he was decades. His shit was decades of doing.
He was guilty from he's been guilty for over 20 years, and everyone knows he's been guilty. You know how long it took people to hate that asshole? Guys, I even put it like this, man. Even with that, I'm a believer, and we're all a believer of this. Art has nothing to do with the person making it.
Yeah.
Once the art is out there, that is it. It has nothing to do with the person who made it.
Yeah, you can choose not to watch Kevin Spacey stuff. You can choose not to watch Kevin Spacey stuff. That is a consumer decision.
That's your prerogative.
But if somebody else does, they're not, But
I'm a believer. What's that saying? What's that saying that we say? Art is, I forget what it's called, but I forget what the saying's called. Art is something, but it's basically once the art leaves the hands of the artist, that art is to the public and to everyone else.
Yeah.
And that is it. It stands on its own. And that is the principle we all follow. So that doesn't make me a bad person if I watch Kevin Spacey stuff, guys. It makes you a bad person if I fucking support Kevin Spacey in any other way. But if I actually watch a film or watch a piece of art, that's it. That's not their that they don't own it no more.
Yeah. I'm still watching Usual Suspect. I'm still listening to Thriller. Like I said, if Michael Jackson was alive today, Michael Jackson would be selling out stadiums. Michael Jackson was.
You're still gonna watch the Cosby Show.
Yeah,
is what it is.
Even though they try to take it off the air in some places, people still watching. You know what? We were laughing about Bill Cosby going on tour. Even though I wouldn't necessarily go see him, there are a bunch of my dad's age people. My dad's age would flock to that. You know what?
They might watch
a lot of them around. So, and is my dad wrong? I don't know. So I'm not saying he would. But my dad demo would. So
I look at it like I wouldn't currently pay money to the guy, but if you watch that's one thing.
Rob Lowe had sex films with underage. Listen. People go see shit, but Rob Lowe, people go see Rob Lowe. So, like I said, to say that it's over for Ezra, it could be. I'm not saying that he's coming back, but
the only reason it would be over has to do with performance issues. That's it. It has nothing to do with this crap. I'm sorry, dude. It ain't gonna be nothing to do with these allegations.
Like I said, and Zazov's is counting cash and cutting cash, and if he, he's like Tony Montana. If the yayo is selling, he's gonna keep selling the yayo. So, on that note, sorry, Enosh just ended your show in a drug reference, but I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow night if I'm not too drained to do my normal Friday show. But I'm definitely going to be on 9:30 Saturday night to do the overnighter because we got a lot of wrestling to talk about.
Michael buying all the
yeah, Michael had a lot of money. He eventually sold them back. But all right, guys, I will see you guys later. And bye, audience. Bye.
Please have a happy Friday.
Yeah, it is Friday, isn't it?